Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all those who watch competitive Left 4 Dead 2, and welcome to the playoffs of the United Nations tournament right here on Crych's stream. We have one more match to bring you this week from this tournament. It is going to be in the lower bracket, meaning the loser of this match is unfortunately going to be eliminated from the United Nations tournament 2021. And the winner is going to advance, of course, but the map is going to be Dyescrayper Redux, and the two teams, of course, are going to be Team Skyrise and Team Hotdog Water, with some very familiar faces still joining the server. I am Rails Barlow, your caster for this evening's match, and I think actually the last thing we need to do is get one more player from Team Hotdog Water on the server to get started. The team chat is already going off in terms of Team Hotdog Water with whatever they are typing there, but either way, I'm pretty sure we're in for a hell of a match in front of us. Dyescrayper Redux, one of the more popular custom maps, I think, in the history of the competitive community as well. And I am quite excited to see exactly who wins this game. Let me pull up the brackets real fast. Right, okay.
Man, I sure wish the burger tank was open. I could go for a barbecue bacon burger.
So this is going to be round 2 of the loser bracket on Dyescrayper. The winner of this game is going to advance and play Team Mixture. That'll be the 4th seed on Dead Before Dawn. And earlier today we saw a really interesting match between Teams Envy and Amagami, which, from what people are saying, I haven't quite watched that yet, but I heard it was an incredible match. A lot of the matchups I think we've seen in this tournament, especially in the playoffs, have had the chance to be super close and super interesting. This one, honestly, I think could go either direction, just because it is going to be a home and away match. But, of course, we do have a roster change, I think, for Team Hotdog Water since the last time I saw them play. They're going to be playing with David, aka Asian, in the lineup instead of another 4th. So on Skyrise's side as well, they've also made a roster change. We're going to be seeing Chris playing along with Innuendo, NF, and Frey. So I think this is really going to come down to which team's more comfortable on the custom map. And I know Skyrise have played this map a decent amount, especially a couple times in tournaments too. But with Spirit and also with Trump, aka Outcasted, on Team Hotdog Water as well, like I said, I expect a pretty even game. I'm going to be starting off relatively soon, I believe, as Asian has joined the server and is waiting to ready up. But in the meantime, I would also like to point out that, of course, the RBT signups have been extended until January 22nd, so anyone still looking to sign up and/or donate to that, all of the information is on the Discord, which I do believe you can find with a link in Crych's chat. And the other thing I would like to mention for this is, because we're starting on the North American server, it is going to be LA to start, which means this is actually going to be a more difficult match for Team Skyrise than usual, from what I can imagine. On a map like Dyescrayper, especially because it's a lot of close-quarter shotgun play, at least from what I remember of it, and especially in today's meta as well. Oh, we actually have some question marks coming out in the chat about optimal rates / also furries. Either of those things, of course, is perfectly acceptable and probably go together sometimes. Let's see if we can get everyone actually to send this live before anything else gets talked about by these teams in the cross-team chat that's not related to this match, but if it does, it does. This tank is going to be at 79%, so a little bit late. I'm hearing that Krycha was met by Roxy on the furry Reddit in 2017. I don't know if Krycha can confirm or deny this for us, but apparently he destroyed somebody in a pub and on 1v1, so you had a furry 1v1. Okay, nice. Nothing dissuades me from this fact. Alright, nice. So Gator, of course, is going to be Spirit, Fetty's going to be Mars, David is Asian, and Chica is Outcasted, aka Trump. And let's see if, once the survivors are done throwing themselves off the building, this might actually be, of the 4 maps, the most challenging for Team Skyrise, I would say. Solely because there are a whole lot of areas where, you know, they can get some quick wall kicks and some charge spits and stacking damage on top of it. It's a little hard to shut that down, I would say, with 170 some ping, but Innuendo is going to be dealing with the brunt of it. He's got 210. Everybody else is averaging between 172 and 180, and of course, because it's their home server for Team Hotdog Water, David's going to have that sweet 16 ping. Gator's got 62, 45 for Chica, and Fetty has 84. So pretty decent pretty decent differential that we see happening here. I don't think New York really would have really helped with this, but anyway, rematch in 2022 for Krycha, and I do believe that is going to be Frey who's talking, right?
That's
yeah,
Frey,
Chris,
yeah.
okay, Chris and Innuendo, Frey and NF. That's going to be Skyrise's roster, as I mentioned before. But yeah, I would say if you had to ask my prediction as to who's going to win this, if I had to say one way or the other, I think just because of the lineup consistency, I want to pick Skyrise, but I think Team Hot Dog Water and Team Skyrise can both keep a game close on the away server as well, so I'm pretty sure that, and I would say that as long as Skyrise manage to actually make this map and not wipe, if they manage to get a little bit of bonus on this, I think that's actually really good for them. For some reason, I have a bad feeling about them on this map. I hope I'm not caster cursing them, but there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
He got donated.
What?
He got donated.
Oh, nice, sweet. Thank you for that. Yes, that's the other thing that I think has been added to the stream as of now. Been doing the casting thing for a fair amount of times, but we've just opened a Ko-fi account to go along with. Those donations are specifically for me, not guaranteed to go towards the RBT6 prize pool, just laying that out there right now, but there's a chance that some of them might go there as well. So if anybody wants to donate to that, feel free to, and hopefully with that, we'll be able to focus on this game relatively soon. And apparently Krychus crushes the female guard. Nice. That's exactly what we want to hear. And see what this first hit's going to be too. We actually have a charger. I don't think someone's going to get death charge, but like I said, on the list of things that could happen to Team Skyrise on this map, that is one thing that could go terribly, terribly wrong. I don't expect like anything major like that to happen, because okay, you've got the team's 8th seed and the team's 14th seed, both of them who would be eliminated if they lost this game, right? And it would take a lot, I think, for something to go that hilariously wrong this early. But then again, stranger things have happened in Comp Left 4 Dead 2, including this unready right now. Let's send this live right as we can. Slots are being limited. Skyrise on the Survivor side first, on the LA North American server, Team Hot Dog Water's home server, and they are on the Special Infected. One last time, for Team Skyrise on Survivor side, it's going to be Innuendo, Chris, Roxy, AK, Frey, and NF. And for Team Hot Dog Water, it's Fetty, Gator, Kermit, and Chica. First hit going in. Charger is not going to land. Actually froze there on the stairs for me for a second, but that's a fair amount of spit damage going out onto Innuendo, despite the rest of that hit getting shut down. As I mentioned during the intro there, I think this tank being at 79% means it's going to be when they push out of the room in the garage, and we already have our first pause right into this match. Because it's home and away, hopefully that doesn't happen as much, but Dyescrayper is also a pretty fast map, as I think Team Skyrise are going to show us right here. They're going to be walking in to another hit. It's going to be a Hunter, Boomer, and 2 other spawns are going to be the Charger and the Smoker for this drop. No spitter on this hit though, so no chance of really getting that pounce, stumble, spit combination with the Hunter Charger spitter. Instead, it looks like the SI are going to actually set up below for when the survivors drop through the manhole. We're going to see Ellis bait the corner here, as I think has been the standard for a bit, looking for that wall kick, but if the survivors are paying attention to those spawns, that means that they know they're probably not going to have to deal with the spitter. As we see these keybinds continuing to go out in Hot Dog Water's chat, really, really boosting that morale. Now Ellis is going to be baiting this again. That's going to be NF for Team Skyrise, waiting to drop down. With this hit spawning up, Hunter's going to be going in along with that Charger. Everything going for him, managing to get the Hunter pin just for a second. Charger's going to whiff, comes back for a punch. Smoker is going to get a couple of scratches as well, but that is going to be pretty much it. Actually, a fair amount of damage going out from that hit. Most of it going on to NF and Innuendo so far, at least through this map. That is going to put everybody into that 4-punch range as well for this tank, which is going to be up very, very soon into the hands of Fetty, aka Mars, for Team Hot Dog Water. Let's see if they decide to send one more hit before that happens. Jockey, Spitter, Hunter, and one other spawn right now is going to be that Charger. So good hit to send in prior to that tank. And I think they're going to be going for some of these close spawns behind the pillars, and indeed they are going to do so. Going in, Charger is not going to land, but that is going to be a nice double cap from that Hunter and that Jockey landing at the exact same time. Roxy over there by that light is going to get pounced and spat on. That's a good amount of damage for that last hit before tank. This is how far up the survivors have to go to spawn this tank here as well. Not 100% sure what's that about, 6.8%. Until Horde starts. Alright, so if there is going to be a hit that comes along with the Horde, it might happen actually after the tank, because maybe the Horde got delayed with the tank being up. I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, Fetty's looking to hit some of these cars in. That first car is not hittable. This happened last week on the other match that I casted, where there were a couple hittables that were indeed not hittable. This car that she's working with right now is going to be, she's going to work it all the way down this ramp here. Let's see if the SI decide to send anything, or if they're going to be comfortable going with this Boomer Charger Smoker. Team Skyrise on Survivor, they're just going to look to stay as spread out probably as possible here. No stumbles really can be allowed in this spot, and as long as somebody doesn't eat that Charger, they should be decently alright. The tanks have to be careful here on this commit, just because they have 2 cars to play with, and a lot of survivors who are looking to get as much chip as humanly possible. Already almost down to 5,300 HP, still trying to work those hittables in. Tank is going to be hitting the hatchback around the left-hand side at first, and now pushing it towards the right to make the survivors go to the left, maybe for a bit of leverage. Leaving the car now, going for Ellis, getting the first punch there, trying to get the corner as well as the Smoker is spawned up, but the Smoker is going to go for Ellis, going to get cleared as the tank now is going to be turning around on this hittable. Let's see if there's any other damage that comes out from this as this Charger goes in. Boomer's going to get shut down. Coach is going to be backing away from this car as well while fighting that Charger. Really, really nice open field level there by Roxy, aka Frey, to prevent any other damage on that tank. It is just one cap going out onto NF, and that's going to put Team Skyrise in a tremendous position actually so far. That tank did the right thing, I think, by trying to hit those hittables in the way that she did, but the problem is that anytime you spend going to set those cars into position, the Survivor team, no matter the ping, is going to chip you as hard as possible. And I think the Smoker going for Ellis there too. Ellis was slow, and maybe the tank would have had to punch him after he popped his pills, but I think the Smoker should have waited and maybe gone for somebody else. Either way, one more hit before the safe room. Spitter, Hunter, Jockey, and Smoker for the hit from Team Hotdog Water, and it's a nice double cap with that pull into the pounce spit on top of Rochelle, with the clear going out on the Jockey to end that attack as the alarm car is going to get hit. But the Survivors really not a whole lot else to worry about aside from some straggling common. Really nice start from Team Skyrise on the away server, 1,052 points on the first map of Dyescrayper Redux right here in the UNT Playoffs 2021. Honestly, I think fighting the tank in that garage is a lot more Survivor-sided than the room down below. Because the tank spawn is as late as it is, the Survivor team's going to be able to go at their pace, set it up, hopefully take less damage for them than they saw go out onto Skyrise when they were on Survivor side. But Hotdog Water, especially on their home server this early, really can't afford to get any kind of like multi-boom wipe scenario there. So let's see if they can avoid that. Plus the rest of these hits, we're going to go live with the second half of the first map. Going to be Hotdog Water on Survivor side, jumping into this hit. Spitter, Charger, Jockey, Smoker all going in. That Charger does get cleared as there's just a little bit of common on Rochelle to stop her from being able to kite away from that spit, but no damage going out for that situation, and that's a good start for Team Hotdog Water as they're going to drop down here, pushing pretty much as fast as they can. I'm not 100% sure if the Infected are going to have a spitter for this, but the Survivors, I think, are going to take advantage of the momentum either way as they work their way down. It's going to be a Hunter, Boomer, Charger, and a Spitter, so actually a much better hit here for Team Skyrise than we saw on the opposite half, and the Boomer in the hands of Innuendo is going to pre-spawn just to maybe get the Survivors' attention, to maybe have that Hunter go in and take advantage of their attention being diverted, and this is a huge amount of damage going out, but the spit doesn't spread all the way into that corner. The Survivors are going to get punched by that Charger. That was nearly a disaster. Survivors are looking for the Boomer as that wall kick went in from the Hunter, got the stumble and the spit to go down, with the Charger going for the double stumble on top of that, but the Survivors were luckily able to hit that S key and get out of that. That's one of those things in Left 4 Dead 2 in terms of spit spreads and where Survivors can jump to. That can be the difference between 50 damage on a hit, but that was looking more like closer to 80, 90 damage if the Survivors had been caught in it. Fortunately for them, Team Hotdog Water are going to work their way up these stairs. Hunter's going to be pre-spawned already with a Spitter, Smoker, and a Jockey waiting for the rest of the attack, and looks as though the Hunter's going to be going from this left-hand side. Smoker's going to go for a pull now too, but not going to land on the Survivor through the door. Hunter's going to bounce in now and does manage to land onto Gator in the front, and that is going to be the Jockey jumping in, but no chance really at damage. Survivor team doing a really good job of covering their teammates there in that first position. This is a lot better take so far from Team Hotdog Water than we saw for Team Skyrise, primarily because of the hit that Team Hotdog Water were able to send here. And the only thing the Survivors have to be kind of careful about now is not getting too split and allowing any run-back nonsense to happen when they spawn this tank, which is going to be up right now for Team Skyrise into the hands of Roxy, aka Frey. Boomer's going to go in and gets a single boom onto Rochelle with a Hunter also looking for a spawn. somewhere in the back, and now the tank's going to have to decide whether or not he wants to roll with the rest of this horde, and it looks as though he's going to with just the hatchback. Smoker and Hunter for the support with that last spawn still about 7 seconds away. 700 damage going out onto him, but he's actually going to decide to leave the hittable and push in with the rest of the common. Survivor's kiting him around in the back. First punch, though, being missed. Punch going out onto Coach as the smoker pull goes out as well. Let's see if the tank is able to get anything else. Still pushing Ellis into the corner. Jockey's going to land onto Innuendo near the hittable. Tank is going to land, rather, that was Innuendo's Jockey landing near the hittable as the tank goes for a couple last-second hatchbacks, but he's not going to get much of anything there. What a wild tank fight for Team Hot Dog Water on Survivor side. That Jockey landed just, I think, a bit too late for the tank to be able to get over there. He had about 1,500 health, I think, when he decided to turn around to go for that. And Hot Dog Water managed to escape this, not only without an in-cap, but they're going to push their way almost to the safe room. They're taking a hit now, though, as this Charger's going to go in with that Smoker landing as well, right with Ellis on the, pretty much in the worst possible spot, I think, for that. That Charger dropped pretty much right onto his head before he was able to do anything, as the survivors now are going to work their way in. Still, though, Hot Dog Water are going to retain the lead. High-scoring game so far on Dyescrayper Redux North American server, 1,220 points to 1,052. This is what I was getting at when I was talking about the fact that there were 6 spots between these teams in the top 16, because I think both teams can play up to this caliber on that away server. Skyrise really can't be unhappy with over 1,050 points to start this off. Meanwhile, Hot Dog Water did what they need to do, and at least they're leading after map 1. Could they do the same thing Skyrise did on the away game? Most likely, I think, because of that tank. So, specifically because of that tank, making map 1, I think, a little less perilous, but map 2 here can be a big problem depending on where we see this tank spawning, and if anybody kites the wrong way, eats hittables. There's a lot that can go wrong here. 78% is going to be the second late tank of the game, however, and I actually think that is, again, pretty survivor-sided, because, you know, this is what I'm thinking, right? Okay, there's a lot of chances. What happened in the safe room? I'm looking. Oh, the spray? Okay, I only see a Team Skyrise spray. I don't see the Skyrise Crisis spray. Amazing, actually. I was expecting something else. I'm not exactly sure what, but either way, yeah, 78%, lot more helpful to the survivors once again. And man, if these tanks keep coming up survivor side like this, we could see a cumulative score of like 8k to 6k or something like that, depending on if teams keep making maps on survivor side. I was a big fan of Skyrise Krycha, not Reflex Krycha. I mean, I'm a fan of all Krychas. Either way. Right now, we're going to be going live with Team Hot Dog Water on their home server, Survivor side first, map 2, Dyescrayper Redux, Skyrise on the Special Infected, with just a 150-some point gap to overcome on the second map. It's going to be a Smoker, Boomer, Jockey, and a Charger for their first hit. They're going to try to get as much damage as possible throughout this map, since that tank spawn is so late. Going to be spawning during the event, if I remember correctly. Hot Dog Water going to take their time on Survivor side, pushing out now into the hit. Smoker's going to go for a pull across. Charger is going to go for a bowling charge and is going to miss it. That's going to be a Jockey getting shut down too. Really nice Survivor kiting there for that hit. Going into this tunnel on the side, making everything come from the rocket spawns. If there had been a spawn in that tunnel, that would have been the only real way, I think, for the Special Infected to deal with that, but Team Hot Dog Water have done a great job with their Survivor synergy so far. They, again, take less than 15 damage on an attack as they push their way forward. That's exactly what you want for your home server. This area is going to have more rocket spawns, and it's still pretty open. Jockey, Spitter, Hunter, and Charger for Skyrise's next hit, and you can see them climbing all the way up that infected ladder to get above the survivors. I think the survivors are going to try to counter all of the rocket spawns that they possibly can, which is why you see them going inside here. But now they're going to have to worry about that Charger rocketing right into one of their faces and going for some kind of short charge spit in this spot. We have 3 spawns on one roof with the Charger looking to rocket as the survivors are going to be making their way across this military truck. I like the way the Team Hot Dog Water are playing so far, and let's see if the success continues for them on this hit, as that Charger's gonna die. Hunter got blown out of the air as well. Jockey M2'd and shut down. Spit going down on nothing except a couple ticks of damage onto Nick. What I was about to say, right as that hit was going in, is that Team Hot Dog Water, so far in their home server, are moving only when they want to, and they're doing exactly what they want so far. They're making the Special Infected hit on their terms, and I think ping can have some to do with that, especially with the fact that playing on LA gives LS11 ping, for example, but they are rolling at the pace they want to. They M2 and shut that boomer down as well. Hunter, Smoker, Spitter for the rest of this hit. Now Hunter's already chipped, going for Rochelle, going to get skeeted by Gator. Self-clear on that Smoker too, with no spit damage to be found. Really, really nice performance by Team Hotdog Water so far on this second map, and now they're going to be moving forward here to start the event, raising this gate, and probably fighting the tank either in the hallway down below or bringing him back all the way to this open area. They're going to have to deal with a couple hits first before that happens. Jockey, Boomer, Charger, and a Hunter for Team Skyrise's next hit, once again looking to utilize those rocket spawns, and Hotdog Water are going to be going into this office on the side. They probably know that the Special Infecteds don't have a spitter, and it'll be really hard for them to take any kind of damage in this spot unless they somehow get stumbled in multicap, but I do not foresee that happening with the way that they're standing. They're going to have Gator playing Rochelle, going into this other room next to the button, as a matter of fact, just for a little bit more space. And I would say that that wall between them is possible to clear through, as Rochelle is going to be working her way back in. And the Infected are actually saving this entire time instead of sending the hit, which is going to let the Horde at least start to die down just a bit. The Survivors, though, aren't going to be able to stand here and wait out the entire thing. So the Infected's patience are going to allow them a hit as the Survivors are working their way forward. And I think that's being done by Team Skyrise just to finally get a hit where they want to hit them. And they're going to be sending it in right now with that Hunter getting blown out of the sky by Chica. Jockey and Charger both landing onto the same Survivors as well. And that's going to be almost no damage going in despite the patience by Team Skyrise. Even though it's the away server, this tank, I think, is going to have to do a good amount of work, and Innuendo is going to be the player for Team Skyrise to try and do it. Let's see if there's going to be a hit as the Survivors are working their way back. There's just a boomer in the spawn queue, and this tank is going straight in as the Survivors are backing up. There's a single boom going out onto Chica, and the tank is actually going to decide to go in from the back instead and push the Survivors down. I don't think they know that he's there, but Coach is running away from him. He figured it out then, as that early pull is going to go in for the corner onto him. Tank is going to try to get the in cap and does manage to get it now with 1600 HP, but that Hunter is going to be cleared before any other damage can go out. Innuendo trying to do the best he can with 700 HP, but he is going to throw one more rock around that corner, and I think that's going to be all he's going to get unless the Survivors give him some kind of punch here. Rock is again not going to land. Charger does bunny hop in for a land onto Nick, but everything cleared and shut down. I'm not 100% sure, but I think when that tank committed, Coach wasn't looking at him whatsoever. Like, he came in from the side over there, and I don't think the Survivors were expecting him to do that. He had the cutoff, but Coach was, like, getting cleared from the Horde at the exact same time, and his team were running the other direction, so somebody must have called something out to him as they were going, or else he might have just gotten early cornered there. But instead, Hotdog Water do an amazing job of shutting down that tank. That's going to be a skeet going out by Gator once again, this time onto NF. We have the SS coming out, and if anybody was wondering if Team Hotdog Water could pull off the upset and continue on in this tournament, they have done everything they need to do so far on Survivor side on their home server. We have the Go-Go's getting spammed in Special Infected chat, of course. That's going to be a single boom going out onto Ellis, but things are so frantic on the Special Infected side right now. They're really having a hard time matching Team Hotdog's water pace on Survivor side. That's going to be a little bit too fast, however, for Rochelle with that Charger managing to land, spit going down, and now a jockey landing onto her as well, and the spit spread up on the railing, so that is really unfortunate for Spirit in that scenario. Just as I was saying, it's been a frantic attempt by Team Skyrise to match Team Hotdog's water's pace. They managed to get some damage on that hit at least before the rest of this goes down. There really is only one hit left, I think, for Skyrise on this chapter. Nice double boom going out. Smoker, Hunter, and Charger for the rest as they're just waiting for this Horde to get in. Survivors choosing to stand on top of these items as well in order to kite the Horde effectively, and the Uzis are doing a whole lot of work and putting a lot of pressure on the Special Infected to hit without any kind of common support as the Survivors are just mowing this down. Last spawn is going to be in the queue now for Skyrise for what should be their last hit. It's going to be a spitter on top of that 3 cap, as I mentioned before. Hunter is going to get skied out of the sky by Fetty, but the pull charge is going to go down onto Chica. The spitter, though, spat in some other direction, like on top of the table there, instead of actually on the charge target. So combination of Team Hotdog Water playing absolutely out of their mind so far on Survivor side on their home server, and a couple staggered hits by Team Skyrise. That's 2,800 And 20 points by Team Hot Dog Water so far through 2 maps of Dyescrayper Redux. What an amazing start for them. Because I've seen games that have scored this high on Dyescrayper, but you really gotta be a coordinated survivor team to almost get 3K in 2 maps. I don't care if it's your home server that way. It's something where it's like, any mistake that they made could have been something almost deadly for them had Team Skyrise capitalized. But now, if I'm Team Skyrise, I really don't want to be seeing like an 1,800 point deficit after 2 maps on a 4-map campaign. So they really have to shut this tank down, I think, or at least survive. If they get wiped before the safe room here, I'm going to be a little bit nervous for them already, just because we only have 4 maps to go through. And I'm assuming that finale is being played, Krycha?
Quit shooting me, Nick.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to see 1 through 4 for each of them, so that does help them out just a little bit, but still, 4-map campaign on each server. First hit here, though, for Team Skyrise to deal with on Survivor side is going to be a Smoker, Charger, Jockey, and a Boomer, and the Charger is spawning down below, managing to land onto Rochelle, and that's going to be a Jockey into the alarm car, landing onto Innuendo. That, I think, is exactly what I was talking about on the first hit last time. If something had spawned down there to anticipate that rush, by the time Skyrise transitioned out, Rochelle was running right into that Charger. Got the rock and roll coming out in Special Infected chat too, so Team Hot Dog Water rolling on their home server so far. Alarm Car Horde is going to be following the survivors from behind, but they are going to W pretty much as fast as they can away from it. Smoker spawns behind along with the Hunter. Charger's still looking for it. Spitter is somewhere as well, but the hit is going to back off, at least for the moment. Charger was looking for a close spawn on the pillars, but they're really not going to be able to get it, and the survivors are going to keep holding W away from this horde in the back. That is one thing that I've noticed, especially in configs without stuff like water slowdown, is that survivors can cut away from hordes that get triggered on alarm cars, or that just exist for whatever reason, a lot more easily than they could before. And in this room, it's going to be a lot harder for Team Hot Dog Water to do any kind of damage. They know this because they went there on Survivor side themselves. They're going to decide to send it in now. Anyway, with that 25 damage pounce coming onto Roxy from Chica there with a Charger landing and a Spit going down as well. What a tremendous amount of damage from that beautiful high pounce coming out. And that is Team Hot Dog Water taking advantage of the fact that they can get things like high pounces to land on a team that's playing against them with this kind of red ping. Those are the kind of attacks that you want to see them go for. They decided to hit pretty much when they wanted to, and now they're going to have a pretty decent hit for inside here as well. It's going to be a Hunter, Boomer, Spitter, and a Jockey for the next hit as the survivors work their way through the restaurant and now into the kitchen. We're going to be seeing Chris playing that position 1 with Shoddy going for this Hunter, but he's actually going to get skeeted by Innuendo instead as the Jockey jumps around. A little bit of spit damage going out, but that's pretty much all with that Boomer proxy going out in the back from Roxy onto himself as the survivors work their way forward. I think there's going to be maybe 1 hit as the survivors are trying to start things off, but if they can get into position, they would be in a really, really good spot to shut down anything aside from a multi-cap in this area. Let's see if Team Hot Dog Water can go for that, because they're going to have the Hunter, Charger, Smoker, and Spitter, so it's that 3-cap with Charge, Spit, lots of damage potential. Survivors are going to stand on top of the kiosk here, at least for the moment, to clear this horde. Uzi's pretty much focusing it from the back. But once again, because this is this version of Zone Mod, this horde is not going to terminate on its own, so the Infector are going to be just as patient as we saw on the last half. They've already done a decent amount of damage so far. Let's see if they can add to it, because now the survivors are going to work their way forward. Charger spawning in front around the corner. Hunter going in from the back. There's the double cap. Charger's going to land. That is the triple cap by Team Hot Dog Water on to Team Skyrise for a tremendous amount of damage on that hit as they were pushing downwards. That is the kind of patience that you really, really love to see from a Special Infected team. That's going to be 2 sets of pills committed prior to the tank, and now this tank is up into the hands of Gator and can look to get some kind of wipe or at least 3 in-caps maybe going at this pace by the time everything is said and done. I'm predicting that at least just because of the amount of damage that we've seen happen so far. Boomer's gonna die. Jockey and Smoker are the other 2 supports right now before this tank works his way anywhere close to in. Looks as though he's going to be taking the route from the opposite direction to push the survivors from the back. He's taking a pretty long way around to do it, but that means he's going to probably commit from the vent. If the survivors knew this, they might be able to go forward right now, but I don't think they're going to, at least not yet. But if they figure out he's that far behind, they very easily could have W'd into the tunnel there. Instead, the tank is going to be close enough to commit with that Jockey, Hunter, Smoker And unless he decides to get a boomer here at the last second, we're just going to see him probably go right in. He's going to be going in from the top here as well, right onto the survivors' heads. They're already backing up while trying to Uzi him. At the same time, Hunter goes in for a stumble. Tank's going to get the punch onto Ellis off of that. The Hunter's going to get cleared. This is going to be the corner going out onto NF. He still has about 3,500 health in the hands of this Tank, and that's going to be a pull going out onto Coach with another punch going. That's a down onto Roxy. Let's see if he gets this third and or fourth in cap with this 2,269 HP left. Jockey and Smoker still in the queue. There's the Jockey, and there's the corner again. On to Chris. One more punch is going to do it for that survivor, and this is going to be Gator going for the lockup onto Nick. With the Smoker now looking to get the wipe, he didn't think he had enough health to go in and actually get the wipe himself because of the fire from the ground, but now Nick is going to be going for this pickup with the rock landing onto him as well. What a beautiful special infected round from Team Hot Dog Water. Screw the 3 in-cap predictions. This is looking like a wipe with the Smoker managing to get that last second pull onto Innuendo. The Deagle is chirping, and the Tank is going for the last punch. He misses the last punch because of the boomer stumble. Oh my goodness. Innuendo, once again, the last survivor standing as he's pushed into this corner. Smoker goes for the pull. Deagle clear is going to go out. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this isn't wiping. I'm going against my own pre-tank prediction. That should have been it. That last punch almost registered onto Nick, but the survivors are not quite dead. Innuendo is going to get his pills off as the rest of this horde is now going to come in after the Tank, and this is the challenge now. With all the horde on one survivor like that, it's going to be up to Ellis, that being enough to clutch this. He is going to M2 that Jockey and now try to pick up Rochelle. Boomer's going to get popped as this Charger is looking to go in to make this play. Not going to land it though, and now they're going to be able to actually get the pickups. Oh my goodness, this is not going to be the survivors dying. They have to pick up Chris right now. This Hunter is going to go for the troll, but all of Skyrise are going to survive. They are still in a serious amount of trouble just because of this horde still going. Hunter's going to go in trying to land, not quite finding it as the Smoker spawns in the back onto Rochelle. Tongue cut is not going to land. Chris was jumping as that was going down. The Deagle clear is going to go out as the spit lands on to Ellis as well. Oh my goodness, this round and this game is just absolute mayhem that we're seeing, but Skyrise are, for all their effort, only getting a few more distance points from this to where that wipe probably should have gone out. Triple boom is actually going to be a quad boom onto the survivors. Charger spawns around the corner and gets a punch down. Double charge. Kermit is going absolutely Sesame Street on these people right now as that Hunter lands onto Rochelle. All the horde is on Innuendo. They have almost 200 ping each, and I do believe this is going to be the end of our intrepid survivors in Infested Souls Words, unless something really, really magical happens for Team Skyrise. It does not. That's going to be Team Hot Dog Water taking the lead, 2,820 points to 1,513 over Team Skyrise so far on their home server. So Hot Dog Water are absolutely making this the best they possibly can, as they have the advantage, and this is going to be a hell of a match going back to EU in this case if this score differential holds. So far, I'll say it again because I said it after the tank on map 1 and when I saw the percentage on map 2, but pretty survivor-sided tanks, especially for a team playing with lower ping so far. I'm kind of hoping that this one, yeah, okay, this one's going to be 48%. I think that's a little bit better for the SI than just having a massive open area to have to kite the tank around in for the survivors, right? And I think Spirit's tank did the most work it possibly could, and the SI support was absolutely everything. You saw that Hunter stumble, you saw the early pull, you saw the Jockey stumble. That is exactly what you have to do in an area like that. Let's see if they can continue capitalizing on their survivor side. First hit getting absolutely annihilated aside from 6 ticks of spit damage onto Innuendo. That was a 2-2 that died pretty much instantaneously. Hunter got skeeted, Boomer got shut down. And the survivors are going to keep doing what they've done so far, which is hold W as much as humanly possible to clear these hits. They're going to be looking to get into this room ahead with the pallets and the sandbags before any other kind of hit is up. And it's going to be a 3-1 with no spit. Hunter, Jockey, Charger for Team Skyrise on this hit. And it looks as though everything's going to be spawning in front of the survivors as well. So now we're going to be seeing Gator bait this out again, that being Spirit with this shoddy. Looking for the Hunter there, and he actually is going to back up as Rochelle gets pounced. But the Charger really won't be able to follow up on that, and the Jockey is going to get completely disintegrated by those guns as well. before any damage really can go out. So still only 9 points of damage on the board for Team Skyrise. And they had better hope the fact that this tank is inside, I think, instead of the survivors pushing out, it can really help them out so far. Because I've been extremely impressed with Hotdog Water on the survivor side, and if there's one opportunity they have to get any kind of momentum on this away game, it is indeed in the theater with this tank. Charger is going to spawn, not going to land. They're going to get rid of the Charger, keep the Smoker and the Hunter. If a Boomer lands in here, this is really, really bad for the survivors. They have to kite pretty much back to the podium where you see Nick standing next to the presentation screen and hope they don't get stumbled in any kind of way. And this is the one area, I think, for NF with those longer-ish arms, maybe from the ping, where you could see him get some kind of early corner. If he manages to get that, that's going to be very, very detrimental to Team Hotdog Water, of course, so they're probably going to stay as far away from him as possible and kite him across the top of these movie theater seats. This Boomer in the hands of Chris needs to land. There's no choice about it. If that Boomer gets shut down, this tank's going to be shut down. And that's exactly the opposite of what Team Skyrise are looking for. Let's see what they can make happen, because that Boomer is going to die before the tank commits. That is really, really not good for NF whatsoever. He's already down to 5,500 HP. He's getting chipped by these shotties in the front, down almost 1k. He's at 10%, right in the survivors' faces. Smoker pull is going to go out, but it is going to not result in anything until the tank gets that second punch corner now onto Ellis. Melee is going out as Kermit is getting punched around. Rock's going to go out from the tank, landing onto Rochelle. Follow-up punch going to land as well, but that is only 120 damage from that tank. That Boomer went right before the tank was about to commit from in front of the survivors. That was really, really unfortunate for Skyrise, because once that Boomer's dead and the survivors are able to back up like that, not even an MCAT goes out from that tank. And the early pull that went out had Ellis pinned for the tank that way, but he wasn't quite able to get there in time to get the punch after they got that tongue clear. So again, wonderfully played by Team Hotdog Water on their survivor server. Boomer Hunter on their survivor server, on their home server on survivor side, I should say. As this hit does go in, Charger's gonna get absolutely destroyed. Same thing for the Hunter, and they're gonna send the Boomer and Spitter last, so that is a guaranteed quad cap now for Team Skyrise on this next hit. And honestly, they kind of need to have something like that land. This is almost as good a survivor performance, I think, as you can see through 3 maps so far from Team Hotdog Water on a map like Dyescrayper. And the thing about it, with it being a custom campaign and it being shorter, is once you have that momentum and you hold W with shotguns, it can be really, really hard to stop that on whatever config you're playing. They can take as much time as they want now, so long as they don't run out of ammo, to sit over here and kill the horde, and then they'll decide when they want to turn the corner and deal with the quad cap, instead of being worried about this hit going in, because I don't think there's really any chance at all of quadding them inside that Jazz bar while they're standing there. So we're going to see the Infected instead wait for the survivors to move towards this opening gate. That Charger wants the rocket spawn from the top. The Hunter's going for a wall kick from inside. Smoker from the escalators, and the jockey from behind as well. Hunter's going to go in, looking for it, not going to land. Rochelle is going to get triple teamed in the back by that jockey and Smoker and Charger, as the jockey and Smoker are going to land once that Charger's cleared, but really no damage to speak of going out, aside from just a bit off that health bonus. No damage bonus has been taken off of Team Hotdog Water yet so far, because they have not yet suffered an end cap, and as long as they're able to hold W pretty much to this ladder and then not have somebody either get jockeyed off the ladder, charged off the ladder, or just jump off of it, they could be making the safe room with an astronomical score. Like, astronomical, because of this bonus that they've got so far. They still have almost 1k going into what is going to be the last hit of the map. It's going to be a Spitter, Charger, Hunter, and a Boomer for Team Skyrise. Let's see if they manage to make anything happen with it. Hunter's going to go in and does get skeeted by Gator. Boomer goes in at the bottom and does get a double boom in the stairwell, but the Charger and Spitter are the only things that can really do damage. Charger goes in, not going to land it, and that Spit's not going to do anything either. Another great take by Team Hotdog Water, and they are pretty much clear to fast climb up that ladder and block all the spawns they possibly can, except for something at the very top, that being the pipe that we see the SI maybe trying to spawn from now. That's going to be a Smoker pull from down below, not going to land. LSK in the clear. Jockey and Hunter and Boomer still looking for it as well, but the survivors are not allowing anything really, really dumb to happen, at least not so far. That's going to be the Smoker pull going out. Not going to do much, however, with this Hunter who is struggling on that ladder, not able to land. Hotdog Water are gonna score 4,456 points on their home server through 3 maps. This is why when I said 8k total to 6k total or something like that, I don't even know if it's going to be 6k for Skyrise at this point. They're going to have to replicate this on their home server, but Team Hotdog Water are just completely boiling at this point in the best way possible. Yeah, this is super impressive from their Survivor side so far, to say the least. They've got all the momentum they could possibly want, and if they manage to somehow get a wipe at this tank, or even just do a tremendous amount of damage, this is going to make Team Skyrise play the game of their lives on that EU server to keep this from being a big upset. In the lower brackets of the United Nations Tournament 2021, we are going live with the second half of Map 3 right now. Survivors, that being Team Skyrise, making their way out of the safe room. Hunter is going to land onto Ellis with a spray going down from the Survivor on top of that. Smoker gets a quick pull. Boomer's gonna die last, so you're gonna see some kind of quad go on. That's actually even more damage going out from that spit. One of the Survivors decide just to run through the death spit, I'm pretty sure, for no reason, and that is unfortunate for their cause, to say the least. Skyrise need to have a few pretty major things go right at this point, and also hopefully not have anything that Left 4 Dead 2 has in store for every team, you know, like some kind of luck, some kind of death charge, some kind of whatever go out. They really can't afford it at this point. That Charger is going to die. Hunter's gonna get skeeted. Jockey's gonna get shut down. Smoker's gonna get cleared last. That's the kind of Survivor play you want to see if you're rooting for Team Skyrise whatsoever. They are going to have to hopefully shut down the Boomer on their Survivor side as well, which is what we saw Team Hotdog Water do to them in this feeder area. But this tank in the hands of Chica, I think, doesn't really have to worry about the pressure too much, just with the lead that they've got so far. If they can get some kind of like early pounce for a corner and then something else, maybe that would work better. But the Survivors are actually deciding to go back with this instead of fight it in the movie theater area. So scratch everything that I just said. They're going to decide to go back, and they're going to get hit for it with this Charger going in from the back. Hunter going in as well, and the tank is actually right here. Boomer's going to stumble the tank as he goes for the punch onto Coach. That was absolutely ridiculously close to a complete disaster for Team Skyrise in that stairwell. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see the tank being that close. I heard him, but if that punch connects onto Coach, that's an immediate in-cap in the worst spot possible. Instead, it's going to be 400 health off of the tank, and one hit to commit with here is going to be a Smoker, Charger, and a Jockey. For me, I maybe want to see the Hunter instead, but the tank is going to roll with this and see what he can do as the Smoker spawns up, going for an early pull. Tank's going to go for the corner onto Rochelle instead. Smoker's not quite dead yet either. Chris getting punched forward, but the tank is down to 200 HP in this room, getting a multi-punch. Tank is still not dead. 237 for a decent amount of time there. That was actually one of the more momentum-changing tank fights. I think that could have gone either direction, because at the start you had that early corner not go in for Team Hotdog Water, and then that was looking really, really bad for the SI, because if the Survivors on Team Skyrise had managed to kill that tank when he had 237 HP, that's like 2 tank punches, I think, that don't land. So, all things considered, Skyrise are alive, they still have bonus, now they need to keep it and try to find their way into the safe room as quickly as possible. That's going to be this hit getting shut down, however. That Hunter not able to get much of anything, double question marks going out in the special infected chat. And this is cool to see from Skyrise, because even with the point differential, they basically have to ignore whatever the score is and keep trying to make this close. Then, after they do that, they can just completely mentally reset for this second game, knowing they have to bring their absolute A-game on Survivor side. There is going to be a dangerous hit-up now, however, with this quad. Charger, Jockey, Smoker, Hunter, that's going to be the pull going out onto NF below. Jockey's going in for Rochelle. Charger's going to land onto NF. There's a triple cap going out with that Hunter landing and the Jockey on the side. Team Skyrise getting just abominably split on that hit with those spawns up. Once the one spawn died, everybody seemed to relax. As that Smoker pull went out in the back, NF was entirely separated. His team, for whatever reason, were not in the position to cover him for that. That is really unfortunate for Skyrise. That triple cap going out from Hotdog Water. Another great example of their special infected coordination so far. Boomer is going to jump up, looking for the proxy onto Nick, but does get M2'd and shut down. Spitter is looking for something potentially inside. Looks as though they want to go for a 3-1 instead of that other quad. Innuendo for Team Skyrise is now going to be slow, sitting at just about 27 HP. There's the wall kick going in with the spit going on to NF as well. Spreading up the railing onto Rochelle and pulling NF back into spit to boot. Even more damage now going out onto Team Skyrise. The one silver lining for them, however, is the fact that they have 460 bonus still, between 76% DB and 18% health bonus. If they can limp to the safe room with this, that will keep things a lot closer than they appear to be from these past couple hits, and then we'll see exactly what happens on the finale. But they're so split right now that this charger is going to land in the back onto Rochelle. They sent that hit so fast. With that jockey and charger looking to get the in-cap onto Chris. Instead, just getting a bit of damage as the survivors are going to push their way up this second to last stairwell. They have one more ladder that they have to climb, of course, after they get past these common, but it's going to be Chris at 1 HP for it with a spit hit for Team Hot Dog Water. Smoker, charger, spitter, and jockey for the SI attack. Let's see exactly where they decide to send it. Skyrise have to be super careful right now because of Chris's health. And Innuendo at 10 HP is downable by a couple scratches too. As the survivors start taking the ladder, they're going to get all the way up to the safe room here. As the hit's going to go in, Charger's going to land, Spit goes down as well, but the Spit goes through the grate onto the jockey survivor below, and that is going to be Nick plummeting to an in-cap as well. This is the disaster scenario for Team Skyrise, sitting at nearly 400 bonus going into that hit, and that is how quick it can happen. Rochelle is going to get charged from beyond the grave as well with this get-up animation before she ventures back down to help Ellis. Ellis is going to get pulled by the smoker, who managed to get that in-cap in some way, or helped Innuendo in-cap himself, one of the two. Nice double cap going out by that jockey, and that hunter, and Innuendo is going to get death jockeyed by Team Hot Dog Water. That is the wipe going out on to Team Skyrise. What a rock and roll round, as Gator says in the special infected chat for Team Skyrise. They have a 4,456 to 2,211 point differential going into map 4 here. I was not expecting that. I'm telling you right now, Team Hot Dog Water have completely stolen my expectations for this game, at least so far. If they somehow manage to complete this, right? If they complete this with bonus, they're looking at somewhere between, you know, maps 800 distance, so call it like 5.5k. If you manage to score 5.5k like that, that is gonna basically challenge Team Skyrise to play nearly perfect on their home server. This is one chance, though. I'm happy that Team Skyrise handled the tank last map as well as they did, and that they were able to survive it and almost make the map there. That was a really close distance to the safe room to lose 400 points of bonus on, but unfortunately that is what happened to them. I'll say it right now, I don't see Skyrise making this map, just because, you know, making this map on away is particularly difficult because of those two tanks. But something wild could happen. We've seen crazier in competitive Left 4 Dead 2 over the years, as I'm sure a lot of you know, and let's see if Team Skyrise can somehow keep this as close as possible on this last chapter of Dyescrayper Redux. I've been really interested to see anyone eat this death charge this week on this map. I don't think it's happened yet. Craig, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this would be one chance for Team Skyrise to get some kind of, you know, almost nearly miraculous death charge on them. It did happen? Really? Who got PZ charged off that? Oh, okay. If it didn't happen, that's fine too. Yeah, let me know. We do have the first hit going in, and Skyrise are trying to do exactly what I said in terms of keeping this close. Gator getting triple stacked there by the hunter, and then the charger and the jockey at the end with a bit of spit damage going out as well. Good start for Skyrise. Not really needing the death charge, not going for it because they know they don't have an amazing chance of landing it either against a team of Hot Dog Water's caliber, but nearly 60 damage going out on that first hit from the SI. Now they're going to have a decent one as the survivors are moving their way through these offices. Charger, Boomer, Hunter, and Smoker for Skyrise. And I don't know if they go for the death charge here off the ladder. That would be pretty tough, I would say, but the Charger's lining up behind the survivors as though they're going to go for it. Boomer's going to jump in front of the survivors on top of the ladder there, getting a single boom onto Rochelle as the rest of the hit is going to go in, and there's the charge actually going to be taking one of the survivors off the side. That is Fetty getting death charge from a height of 1,347 by Chris. I am sorry to Hot Dog Water for caster cursing the living hell out of them on that. I said I don't think it would be possible to go in from behind in that way, but I think Ellis thought that she was blocking the spawns and unfortunately wasn't able to block that smoker tongue from just basically grabbing the survivor around the corner and setting them up perfectly for the charger. Double cap is going to go in as well. Jockey is landing with that hunter. Hot Dog Water absolutely disintegrating here on this finale of Dyescrayper Redux. They had played such an amazing game on Survivor side so far, but this definitely helps Team Skyrise's case. It's in the realm of possibility for them to come back now. They made the play they needed to make, kept it together on Special Infected side, and now what they need to do is triple cap the rest of their opponents as fast as humanly possible. Hunter, Boomer, Charger, and Smoker for their first attempt. With that Boomer looking to maybe spawn from above the Survivors, yeah. This can be really, really unfortunate for the Survivors if they get split below in any way, but Rochelle's playing in the offices, going for that Charger kill, not able to get it, but thankfully for Team Hotdog Water, Chica skeeted the Hunter in one shot, and that Smoker was not able to cover quick enough, so it might be another tri-cap attempt, or we might be looking at a 2-2 now for Team Skyrise's next hit. If Team Hotdog Water can make the first tank, it's going to be real tough for them to survive it. I think they'll probably be happy with that, all things considered. The death charge that we just saw prior to them getting to the event. But any single amount of distance they can get helps their case, of course, in a match like this in the playoffs. Boomer's going to die first. Jockey's bouncing around, looking for a pin inside, and there is going to be a double cap. That's the second hit in a row that Rochelle has gotten charged across that office table. Good amount of damage going out onto her, but the Survivors, I think, are going to stick exactly where they are, because I think the only thing they're really concerned about would be a wipe at this point. The tank should be up, and indeed it's going to spawn right now for Team Skyrise into the hands of Chris. Let's see if he's managing to wipe the Survivors before they can kite him around too hard. This is a pretty Survivor side area, so long as they don't get, like... Again, in every tank fight, if you get boomed and stumbled, you're probably going to die. But because everything is coming from above the Survivors here, if they can just pop that and then avoid the early Hunter stumble or the early Jockey stumble, they have a chance at kiting the tank around until he's low enough to where they could even survive. But depending on where the tank decides to stick, this hittable, the lovely pandemic-themed ball that has existed in this map forever. Fun fact, I want to say it was a Stoopy back in like 2014 or 2015 who replaced this thing with a globe, but of course if you try to hit it as the tank and you hit it the wrong way, you can actually warp yourself out of the windows. I don't think we're going to see Chris do that, because that would just be one hell of a meme. Instead, he is going to commit, punching the ball directly in the center of the pool, going for the punch onto Rochelle instead of the early pull that existed onto Nick, onto that hittable, going to get the corner onto Rochelle instead. Rochelle not able to pop pills either. Tank is going for the hittable now, popping it up. Nick is going to get jockeyed. That is going to be an in-cap from the hittable as the tank has turned his attention again onto Kermit, who is kiting as well as humanly possible, but is going to get caught by that punch. A nice job by Chris to go for the in-cap that he saw first and then to get that wipe. That is finally what Team Skyrise was looking for, because Hotdog Water were running away with this on this server until that death charge. But they have now put themselves in a position where if they can make distance on this map, right, if they even just get the 800 points from making it to the chopper, this would be super duper winnable for them on EU. They can't afford to have that same kind of mistake happen, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them really, really focus the death charge prior to the event. But I mean, this is their map to at least gain a little bit of ground back at this point, and if we're going by Pug standards, that would give them at least maybe a map win for the finale of this game. But even if you aren't getting MMR for it, you want to be able to say that you got a little bit further than your opponent did on their home server, just for the morale boost prior to that European server game. Of course, there's a lot of ways for this to go wrong, and Hotdog Water, I think, so far can be really happy with how they've played. If you're looking at all 4 maps, they can just kind of say, alright, the death charge is really unfortunate, but they really don't have time to think about it, because they have to play an entire different game after this, and they also need to just keep hitting with the same kind of cohesion we saw on maps 1 through 3, because their hits have been really, really well timed when they've gone in. They've gotten a couple of those triple caps so far. So if anybody else can replicate that kind of success, it would be them. And if anybody here fighting for their tournament lives could continue to make this comeback attempt, that would be Team Skyrise. So for this last map of the North American server in this playoff match, let's see what Team Skyrise do on Survivor side. We're going to be having Roxy standing in the front, playing coach with that 180 shoddy ping combination there. Let's see, this jockey is going to go in and get M2'd and shut down. Hunter is going to pounce on Rochelle, who's standing on top of that bar. Charger lands inside, but went for the pounce target instead of the spit. So still a decent 35 damage coming out from Hotdog Water on that attack. And now the Survivors have to worry about that death charge on the ladder, plus that scaffolding right outside the building. It would be a real meme for that same charge to hit in the exact same way it did on the last half, but once again, crazier things have happened. There is no charger actually for Hot Dog Water in this scenario though, so they're going to decide what they want to do here and then maybe try to go for some kind of charge spit as the survivors get closer to the event. Survivors don't know that, however. They're going to be dealing with a Hunter, Smoker, Jockey, and a Boomer in this close quarter area, and looks as though Coach is going to try to bait out the wall kick as well as he can, pushing up into these offices now, poking around the side. That's going to be the Smoker going for the pull on the Coach, not managing to land it. Boomer and Jockey from the back, not getting anything either. Boomer missing the arc boom. Hunter does land, but then gets cleared. Jockey gets shut down, and the survivors are now going to motor their way all the way up the stairs and take their favorite spot for this event. Personally, I've seen people do it in a few different locations, but the one that's on top of the boxes, I remember Frag4 doing that back in RBT5 when they would have people stand in the corner and spit wouldn't spread on top of those shelves in those boxes. That one to me is probably one of my favorite spots. I don't like the position near the COVID ball because you have rocket spawns directly above you and people can really easily get split. This hit's gonna go in with that Hunter landing onto Coach. Charger goes in too after the spit went down on the pounce target. Had that spitter waited just a little bit longer, that would have also been a charge spit, but you can't be unhappy there if your team Skyrise not really taking a whole lot of damage. And now they are gonna go to this office location over here, and the office is a little bit better, of course, with 4 survivors, then you can spread out a little bit, and so long as your shoddy who's standing inside can kill whatever's jumping above them, then have a decent chance of not taking, like, a massive amount of damage. I just still don't like it, because the SI can spawn literally everywhere. This Boomer is going to be getting a spawn below, it looks like, going for an arc through this broken part of the roof, with that Hunter, Jockey, and Smoker as his support. Let's see if the survivors are able to withstand this without getting boomed. Indeed they do. Hunter's gonna land. That's gonna be a Jockey and Smoker landing though at the exact same time for that double cap, trying to put Coach into the COVID ball because, correct me if I'm wrong, but if that ball for whatever reason becomes dislodged from its from the metal thing that's holding it up from the stand, I think that's also an immediate in cap. I think I saw the screen do that at some point, but that was a couple months ago. I've seen a couple people do it. And that would be super unfortunate for Team Skyrise, because they really need all the help they can ask for at this point. I, right now, foresee them making it at least to the second tank, because they really haven't taken a massive amount of damage, but let's see what this hit does. That's going to be a Charger shutdown. Hunter is going to land onto Rochelle, though, who kited that Charger into that corner, and the spit did spread up as well, and that's going to be more damage onto Chris. A way that you probably couldn't predict thanks to Left 4 Dead 2 spit spreads. But now the tank is up into the hands of Kermit himself for Team Hot Dog Water, that being the one only David, Coach Dave, about to try to get this wipe on his team's home server. Let's see what he wants for support here as well. He's going to go for the hittable first and put some pressure on the survivors using that, so long as he doesn't accidentally launch himself out the window. He's taking his time with it very carefully, and he's actually going to rock it first, maybe? I'm not 100% sure. He's waiting to really start playing with it, and now he's going to. He's going to roll the opposite direction after that R-Rock. Going for the first punch into the hallway, showing some patience as well. Deciding to actually push it to the right-hand side instead of the left, probably to avoid the chip from the survivors in that left-hand side tunnel. But now Ellis is going to go for the chip on the right instead. Ball is going to go right past him, and that might cause this tank to commit. 5,700 HP to his name. Charger, Jockey, Smoker for the support. Gonna be pushing in, looking for this hittable, and the survivors are kiting him as far away as humanly possible. And he's actually gonna try to reposition himself above the survivors, potentially to cut them off, because now Skyrise are gonna be staying forward as much as they have to avoid getting dropped on by this tank. But in my opinion, this is a worse area for them to be taking. Let's see exactly what happens. Tank is gonna jump in, going for Coach, and he also collides right there with the side of the wall, like right above the staircase. That causes him to whack those glass doors away, and for the survivors to jump into his face. He spreads the damage around a little bit, but it was the actual map in this case, I think, that prevented him from hitting Coach, because there's that little gap in the wall upstairs there on that second level, and he clipped it right as he was going for that first punch onto Coach. He made the smart decision of destroying the place where the other two survivors were standing, but he wasn't able to get a multi-punch, and by the time his punch was recharged, I think he could only get a little bit of damage there instead of anything like a corner. The survivors were able to just basically work their way away from him as fast as possible, and they are going to be winning this map, shutting down that Hunter, clearing this Jockey, and also getting rid of the rest of this horde from that double boom as it's working its way in, and they've already shortened the gap to just under 2,000 points. It is crucial now that they shut down this second tank as well as they shut down the first. If they manage to take the first tank that well, in a situation like that where so much could have gone wrong, like really, really fast, I think at this point they try to make the map. If they make the map, they're in great position for their home server, and we'll have turned this around from where it was. Hotdog Water are going to try to stop them from doing just that, however. Charger, Jockey, Smoker, and a Hunter for the next hit. Going in right now, that Jockey gets absolutely annihilated by those Uzis. Charger is going to go in, not going to land. This Hunter's doing a good amount of work onto Chris. Really slow clear, but because the survivors were getting away from the rest of the hit, going right into their faces. As Chris now is probably going to pop that set of pills. No, he's going to wait because I think the survivors actually only have 2 left to their name after that first tank. So Kermit was able to do a good amount of damage, but this tank is going to be up into his hands again, and he needs to try to get the wipe this time as we see Skyrise inching their way back. Really, really nice quad boom going out from below. Pre-spit goes in. Chris is going to try to get up out of that spit and pop pills before taking any more damage, and they do manage to get a decent amount onto him after they get up, but the important thing is he's back on his feet, and now Skyrise are going to be able to move pretty much where they want to for this tank fight. Still a lot of common damage going from that quad boom, but now the survivors are getting this back under control despite the ping. Lots of Uzis chirping as this next hit is only half up. Charger, Hunter, Smoker, and one more spawn for Hotdog Water coming into the queue right now. It's going to be their last full hit before this tank spawns, and it's going to be a spit hit with a 3 cap. Hunter's bouncing his way in the hallway. Charger's going in from the top. Hunter's going to get killed. Smoker pull does land onto Innuendo on the side over there, but the tank in the hands of Kermit once again for Team Hotdog Water is going to be in a similar spot. He is upstairs and looking to see where the survivors are going to kite. The thing that's really unfortunate for Skyrise is that they really can't be that mobile anymore. Roxy has bled out to slow as of right now with that permanent HP, so they can't run all the way down the hallway and run all the way back, at least not as a team. And Coach is going to have to stay as far away from the tank pretty much as humanly possible to not give him that early corner. The ball is going to be hit onto the walkway, same exact spot where we saw the survivors kite before, but now he's going to be anticipating their shift and is going to push them all the way back into it. Double boom is going to go out as well. Tank is getting above the survivors, looking to commit, and the hittable on its own is rolling after the survivors down the side. Ball is not going to land. Jockey's going to get cleared. This is really unfortunate so far for Team Hotdog Water, but now they're trying to turn around with this corner by the tank onto Rochelle. No in cap, however, and Ellis is absolutely running for his life as this Hunter is now going to be up and is going to capitalize on the fact that the tank pushed him all the way away from his team. He was just cutting backwards and cutting backwards. He's now going to be in capped as Rochelle is going for the clear. Still can't get it with that shoddy, but now the separation for Skyrise is real on this tank fight. Tank still has 3,700 HP. That was a massive split caused by the tank, and I said Ellis was going to be running for dear life, and he ran directly into that Hunter, and looks like he might actually die. This could be the wipe going out, as the tank is going to work his way back in. Innuendo is the only survivor still fast, as Kermit is pushing Nick as fast as he humanly can, and Nick is actually doing a great job of kiting him, but he's running out of space now, as the tank is trying to catch up. Jockey is going to go in and land, pushing Nick directly into the tank. That's going to be Nick still jumping around, but the tank is going to be jumping right along with him, and that's going to be Hotdog Water getting the wipe onto Team Skyrise for a total score of 4,698 to 2,755 on this North American server in the playoffs of the UNT United Nations Tournament 2021. We have a second half of this game that is going to happen right now on that EU server. And with this kind of differential, like I said, we've really got to see Team Skyrise play completely out of their minds on this. I'm going to take a quick step away, but do not go anywhere. We're going to be back on that server and bring you the second half of this game very, very shortly.
No pulse and all alone. Time's not kind and it won't let go. No thoughts left in my head. My mind's on mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black as the soul in me and the heart I have for you. It bleeds for you, it beats again. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life. safe only. No pulse and all alone. Time's not kind and it won't let go. No thoughts left in my head. My mind's on mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black. Cause the soul in me and the heart I had for you. It bleeds for you, it beats again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life. Now you bring me to I stopped on my side, tried to run on a faulty line. I'm safe only, even though we burn from the light I bleed. Does she bring me back? Not a heart attack could take away all the love I had for you. It bleeds for you, it beats again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Oh, you bring me to life.
Hello.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the United Nations Tournament 2021 playoffs right here on Craig's stream. We are halfway through this home and away match between Team Skyrise and hotdog water. Really, really impressive performance on Survivor side to start, I would say, from Team hotdog water, but Team Skyrise making that finale death charge and then the second tank on the finale their way of getting back into this game. It is a 4,698 to 2,705. Okay, so what? We've got just under 2K here as the differential, and that basically means that Skyrise are going to have to make up about 500 points per map, and they can do that, I would say, with these tank spawns, but I think having Team Skyrise go on Survivor first here is really, really interesting. Because hotdog water are playing with the lead and now with the ping. Everybody being in the red ping range. Once again, everybody green, of course, for Skyrise because of the server difference. But let's see here. For Team Skyrise, it's Innuendo with 41, Roxy AK Frey has 21, Chris has 27, NF has 49. This is all on tap, by the way, not from Netcraft or console. And Team hotdog water, Fetty has 148, Chica has 166, Kermit has 172, and Gator is right on that orange to red ping range, 134 right now, but it's floating around like 140 to 145 as well. So pretty evenly balanced for the home and away situation, and I don't think, I think I mentioned this on the other game as well, but I don't think it would have been possible to do a one-game New York in this scenario. I like to see one games as much as possible, but still in this particular situation, it's going to be something that Team Skyrise are going to have to reciprocate as though this were one game with how well they have to play on Survivor. And the fact that we saw a huge play like that death charge go out, I think hotdog water, even though they're on the ping, can maybe do that on special infected side as well, but it's going to be pretty dependent on whether or not Skyrise can keep their survivor coordination together, get these shutdowns on the hunters, not get stacked and stumbled, anything like that that they can do to play as near to perfect on that survivor side as possible. First hit's going to be a Charger, Smoker, Boomer, and a Hunter for Team Hot Dog Water. Let's see if they are going to try to go for any kind of death charge play, but I expect Skyrise to play at a pretty high pace as well on their home server, as we saw Team Hot Dog Water do on the North American side of things. So unless they decide to just completely run into a hit and stack, I don't think we're going to see that death charge happen, but the fact there's no spitter here too means that Team Skyrise can go when they want at their pace. I expect some shotguns too, and right now they're going to be running 3 of those at least to start. Actually, now they're going 2 too. Either way, I want to predict at this point that, basically any one of these tanks, if Skyrise take like anywhere in the 3 and cap range on their home server before that finale, in order to keep pace with what we saw Team Hot Dog Water do, they're going to need to score massive amounts of bonus and then do their best on Special Infected to keep things under control. Let's see if they can do it on their home server now. Team Skyrise on survivor side, jumping into this first hit. Hunter's going to get blown out of the air. Charger is going to land and pull Ellis a little bit further forward, but no death charge going out. Smoker also was not able to get any kind of damage. We can do a quick roster rundown once again. Innuendo, Roxy, Chris, and NF are going to be survivor-sided Skyrise to start, and Roxy, of course, being Frey. For Hot Dog Water, it's going to be Fetty, Chica, Kermit, and Gator. That's Mars, Trump, David, and Spirit in that order. Second hit for Team Hot Dog Water is going to be coming up right now. It's going to be this Hunter and Jockey spawning at the bottom of these stairs. Nice geek going out by Chris. As this Jockey's going to get M2'd, we are going to see the Smoker go for a pull after the spit goes down, but that's a perfect example of how positioning on survivor side is absolutely key and how it's a lot easier to do that when, of course, you have your green ping on the home server. Chris really not taking a whole lot of damage there to speak of, and the survivors are going to race their ways through this tunnel and probably get close to the parking garage before the next SI hit is even up. It's going to be a Charger, Boomer, along with a Jockey at least to start, and I think that 4th spawn is going to be a Hunter as well. Indeed it is. So that's going to be a 3-1 with no spit. In this area, Skyrise can pretty much back down the stairwell as much as they want to bait this out, and they can also wall, I'm pretty sure, through the one that Ellis is shooting at right now, and that's why the SI are spawning behind the sedan in front. We have the WTF Horde coming out from Innuendo. I don't make the rules, I just cast the games in this scenario, so I don't think there's a whole lot that can be done there, but this hit is going to be a double charge turned into nearly a triple cap, but everything got cleared so fast by the survivors that they were able to take just about 20-ish damage, all things considered, from what just happened. First tank of this match is going to be up into the hands of Gator for Team Hot Dog Water. Chance to do a whole lot of damage, and he's not going for the hittables that we saw Team Hot Dog Water go for on the last server. He's going to decide instead just to throw these E-Rocks around this corner. Rock and roll, of course, going out in SI chat again. Charger is going to die, and I think that's the right call. They really want that Smoker Hunter Jockey for this area because it's the most wide open area I think the survivors could use on this first map, and if they manage to get some kind of stumble, maybe an early pull is what the Smoker's looking for, that's really the only way to get anything close to a wiper, even just a whole amount of damage on this, so long as the tank is in the position to take the survivors that get pinned. Let's see if that is indeed what happens, as the tank is going to be committing, going for this hatchback with that tri-cap, as I mentioned, pushing the survivors all the way back towards the door. There's the pull going out onto Coach. Tank is going to get that first punch, but no corner at least yet, pushing Coach all the way up the stairs, and Coach is going to come back around now out of the tank's reach after that punch, managing to pop pills. Jockey's going to get shut down. Skyrise still kiting, getting a really nice punch from the tank there while jumping at Rochelle, hitting Ellis into this corner, missing a punch there, however, getting one last one onto NF, spreading the damage around at least decently, but we saw the survivors get hit away from the tank, and then Chris do a really good job of getting punched down that ramp that we saw the survivors try to kite away from after that hatchback got hit in, and by doing that he managed to stay with his team. No real separation went out. This Boomer's not going to find anything either, and this Charger Spitter Smoker is going to be the last real hit that Team Hot Dog Water have on this server. Let's see for this first map what they can do with it, as this Charger is going to get completely destroyed, going towards the survivors in the safe room. Smoker gets cleared. Spitter is going to go down onto absolutely nothing, and this is the Team Skyrise that we need to see if you are rooting for them at all to make this comeback. Really good job by them to do exactly what Team Hot Dog Water did on their home server, and they are going to score just about 1,108 points on this first map. So each team so far on each half in this match has made it on this first map with over 1,000 points. That, I think, is pretty impressive, and I think when you see a tank spawn like this and the survivors have so much room to either get hit away or to kite, that's really what they should be looking for. And now Hot Dog Water, though, are going to have to see how they play on this higher ping. They really took control of the pace on Survivor side on their home server, but with these shotties and with these areas that are detrimental to Survivor's health if they get stacked, any one of these hits that involves a charger spit, in my opinion, could do a tremendous amount of damage, depending on how Skyrise's cohesion's looking with this green ping. Waiting for 2 more people from Hot Dog Water to ready up right here before we manage to take this live. Let's see exactly where the SI are looking to hit from. That Charger and that Hunter are going to be down below in the stairwell that the survivors have to run down after they drop. And it looks as though other things are going to be maybe trying to get that same kind of separation or stumble, because that Smoker's going for the pull from the very, very top of the roof, but the Survivor's going to drop underneath. Charger's going to go in. That was a butt clencher for a second, because that looked like it could have been a bowling charge. Instead, it's a triple boom with this pull going out onto Gator in the back. That's a huge amount of damage actually going out. Rochelle was separated there, of course. That Charger went almost, I think, through the survivors, and obviously no death, but a little scary moment to start off for Team Hot Dog Water. They're going to try to hold W as fast as they humanly can at this point, with Rochelle taking point with the shotty going towards the drop, but the next hit's already up, and it's going to be a nicer hit for this drop. It's going to be a Jockey, Charger, Hunter, and a Spitter as the survivors are still clearing some of these common, dropping down now with the hit just about up. It looks as though the SI are going to wait for the survivors to drop once again into the sewer down this manhole cover. I'm not 100% sure if the SI are going to be looking for a stumble or maybe just like a wall kick initiation here, but if one survivor gets charged all the way down this hallway, that is very, very bad, of course, for a team playing with this amount of ping. Charger is not getting chipped quite yet, but it is going to take now about 150 damage, actually, from one of the survivors shooting at him. Pre-spawned, making them look that direction. Hunter's going for the wall kick as well. Survivors are looking like they want to drop into it one at a time. That's going to be the Spitter pre-spawning in front along with that Hunter. Chica doing the best that he possibly can to bait this. Charger goes in, manages to land, but a really nice clear by the survivors as that Hunter's going to land. Jockey lands up top as well for the double cap. Spit goes down below onto Gator. That could have been catastrophic had that Jockey stumbled the other survivor up top down with the rest of the team when that other survivor was pinned by the Jockey, but luckily that did not happen for Team Hot Dog Water. They are going to be able to push their way almost into the parking garage now, but there is going to be one more hit prior to this tank for Team Skyrise, and the tank itself is going to be up in the hands of Innuendo when that spawn happens. Charger, Boomer, Smoker, and Hunter for the next hit from Skyrise. Let's see if they manage to get some kind of multi-boom separation or something as this goes in. There's going to be a pounce in the front on to Nick as this Charger is waiting in the wings. They took a little bit of time, I think, to clear that Hunter, and then the charge stumble does go out as well. Boomer spawns up behind a car, not going to land the boom, however, onto anyone. So Hot Dog Water is still in a decent spot, and they, of course, are going to fight it in this area as well, as we saw Team Skyrise do on their survivor side. Tank is going to be knocking another car in from the top, so this actually could be the double hittable commit strategy. The trade-off, of course, is that the survivors are going to be able to chip the tank as much as they want as he's trying to get both these hittables into play. Hunter, Jockey, Smoker for the support as Innuendo is committing this. Trying not to get stuck in the ceiling. Already taking 1k though off that first car. Knocking the hatchback in now, but the survivors are still well away. He's taking a lot of damage for this trade at this point. I'm not sure when he gives up on the hittable, but the survivors are actually going back downstairs. Having done 1300 chip to him. Very interesting call from Hot Dog Water to start this off. I don't know if I like this on Survivor side with this ping, but we're going to see how they make it happen. Tank is going to go in, looking for that initial corner, going to get it onto Rochelle, and now the melees are out, though, onto his back. Tank is still going for the corner. That's going to be a double cap landing. Jockey is going to be shut down, and the tank is going to die. Ends up working out super well for Team Hot Dog Water going back there because that tank was already down 1300 HP and the tri-cap was able to be shut down. I think that was Nick getting the M2 on the jockey. So one jockey landing there changes the entire complexion of the game, and Hot Dog Water are the ones right now who are benefiting from that exchange. They are going to keep holding W, keep holding their lead as well. They could even score more points now, I think, than we saw Team Skyrise score this map, depending on this last hit. It's going to be a Spitter, Charger, Jockey, and a Boomer for Team Skyrise, and they really have to make it count with these scores, because these are the added scores already. I don't think they're really going to be making a whole lot of points back on this map unless they get some kind of wild multicap here with that spit on top of it. Let's see what the survivors are going to do, though, as Gator is the only survivor to have lost his permanent HP so far. No in-cap, as this Boomer spawns up top, does get a double boom onto the survivors. Jockey is spawned up in front as well. Everything is in front at this point. The Charger's pre-spawned, so no rocket coming in. Just going to be a drop spawn instead. Jockey's on top of the bus, and they're actually maybe waiting for this last spawn to come up once again from that Boomer, but the survivors have them kind of where they want until the double charge lands through the door with the jockey on coach. That is a huge amount of damage. Still going out onto Team Hot Dog Water. Oh my goodness. The Pog natural horde going in. Guys, it wasn't a natural horde, it was the double boom that people weren't clearing from the front. That is kind of what that was, I'm pretty sure, because they waited that long. That's unfortunate for Team Hot Dog Water, but I think they're still going to be happy with the amount of points they score. They would have won that map had that last hit not gone in. They stood at the door there and got double charged at the same time. So that does narrow the gap by just about the same advantage, I think, that Hot Dog Water took on the first map on last server. So map 1 really hasn't meant a massive amount. It's going to come down to map 2 and map 3 and whether Skyrise can preserve bonus through these hits and then continue shutting down the tank like we saw them do on map 1. Tank, this map is also going to be late. I want to say it's 78% or something like that, but it's the one that spawns when the survivors have already started the event. I would be really interested to see if Team Hot Dog Water, since they're playing on Survivor side first, right? They have the ping and they have the lead, but they're going to be forced to deal with this map. And it looks as though actually it might be 78 in terms of the tank spawn. I'm not 100% sure, because as I mentioned, I was getting ready for the second part of the game versus looking at those. I think the teams should probably scroll back up in chat in order to do it. But yeah, big number. I think 78 is right, but they gotta double check me on it. I'm interested in how games like this go, mostly because when you add the scores together on the second server, even though Team Hot Dog Water haven't played better in this game, they're going to be leading and playing first. So they have the advantage, but they also have a chance for Team Skyrise to really, really do a number on them. And if you're Skyrise in this position, like, they probably want a little bit more of a lead from that first map, but if we've learned anything from this game so far, every single map is going to be competitive with teams of this caliber playing the way that they are, and we are going to get that tank spawn set. Right now, the chat print is correct in terms of 78. The print on the HUD is going to be wrong because it still says 50-something, but as soon as Fetty readies up, we will be able to take this live and see if Hot Dog Water can keep maintaining this lead on map 2 of Dyescrayper Redux. Let's see, nice ping spirit going out. It's like Neo New York, Chris saying. It's one of those situations where I don't think it's... I was about to go on the entire rant about how if we really wanted to play Left 4 Dead 2, we have to fund a land center somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic, but this is, I think, as close as it's going to get in terms of being an even match on this server. At least from the way things are looking right now. That being said, a Hot Dog Water on the Survivor side first, defending that lead, playing with the higher ping, and Skyrise already gonna have a Hunter picked right off of that safe room door. Charger's gonna drop in as well, going for the pin inside, going to get it, but the spit is gonna get at least partially blocked by Rochelle. Still an okay amount of damage going out from that hit, especially when one of the pinners got killed instantaneously, going for some kind of wall kick from the awning above that glass door. Hot Dog Water are going to keep holding W, as we've seen them do over the past 5 chapters, and the last time they did this, they took it really slow and made the infected hit, like, basically from the rocket spawns where they couldn't clear as well, but this time they have a smoker pull coming out from the back. Charger misses the charge onto Ellis, who was boomed and standing still. Is going to get 2 punches for its trouble, but I felt like that was about to be even more damage, and indeed the SI hit before the survivors were able to make their way forward into this restaurant area. I think because of the timing of the hit, and if Hot Dog Water keeps going as they are, that's going to give another rocket spawn attack before the survivors get into the burger tank in front of them. And the survivors are also going to fire this gun just to add a bit more drama to it, because if somebody runs into this rolling hittable, that of course is an immediate end cap. It's going to be a 2-2 for Skyrise now. Spitter, Hunter, Boomer, and a Jockey on this hit, and this is going to be the Hunter going in for Nick, not finding the land quite yet, but now is going to find it with the Jockey landing as well, and the survivors common. This is a really nice infected chapter so far now from Team Skyrise. You look at the damage spread on Team Hot Dog Water and how Skyrise, even making that 2-2 count, really puts them back in the swing of the game. This tank in the hands of Roxy that we're going to see after the tank gets triggered during the event, I don't think we're going to see the same commit path that we saw last time. I think these tanks are both going to change it up and just try to have the survivors, you know, be caught off guard again by how they commit, and they have to take as little damage as possible when they try to commit from either the air vent or the space above the survivors, as we saw last time. There's a quad for Team Hot Dog Water to contend with first in the hands of Skyrise, Jockey, Charger, Hunter, Smoker for this hit. The Hunter's already been chipped just a little bit as the survivors drop down. That's be the Charger going in with the Hunter right next to it. Charger goes into Ellis eventually, but not after the other pinners are cleared, shutting down any attempt at that quad. Charger landed right next to one of the survivors who was already pinned, so if that Charger's not able to land on that quad, I think landing the Charger is sometimes the hardest SI of the four to really get that kind of pin on, because it's so easy for their target to get maybe stolen or just accidentally pounced on or jockeyed, something like that, before they're able to land. So Hot Dog Water don't have to worry about that. They have to worry about this 2-2 that they're going to be dealing with as they're working their way forward. Spitter, Hunter, Boomer, and a Jockey for this hit. Really nice skeep from Chica going out onto that Hunter, and the Boomer shutdown goes out as well, with just this Jockey in the hands of Innuendo left in the queue for Skyrise. As Hot Dog Water are going to spawn this tank. One survivor still in the back, clearing out the horde from behind, blocking those spawns, and the tank is going to be in the hands of Roxy, aka Frey, for Skyrise, as I mentioned before, and he is actually going to be trying to commit onto the survivors, probably from the back once again. It's going to be a Charger, Smoker, and a Jockey for Skyrise's first support hit, and it looks as though the tank might just be rolling his way directly in instead of going above them, and indeed he's going to be. That's going to be a pull going out onto Coach as the tank turns around, and he misses the punch onto Coach as he was hanging over his head. One of the survivors is now outside, along with Rochelle. So that's Coach and Rochelle being hit around by the tank. As he turns back around, that Charger is not going to land. Jockey landed in the back, and now the pull goes out onto Chica. Tank still has 1300 HP and is not dead. Throwing a rock now at the survivors, but only 2 survivors left standing after that initial mayhem. The survivor getting pulled and not dropping into his punch range is so unfortunate, but now the SI are still going to be trolling. This tank is jumping in, hitting Ellis on that pull of Nick at the same time, getting another punch onto Ellis, but it's not going to be the wipe. The tank is going to die after just some absolute mayhem in that fight. 2 survivors getting hit outside at the same time. Hunter is going to die as soon as he jumps at the survivors, maybe, but instead lands a 10 damage pounce because of that ping, most likely for this troll. Rochelle is still down, and this Spitter is ready to do a whole lot of damage. Jumping in, going for the spit, and Ellis is going to be the one taking most of it as the horde is still just trolling Nick on these pickups. This is the second server in a row that we've seen these problems for the survivors trying just to pick somebody up here. Charger and Smoker still in the spawn queue. That is going to be Rochelle dead, and there's the double charge down the staircase for Hot Dog Water getting wiped on this tank for all intents and purposes. This Boomer landing onto Nick is pretty much going to lock it up, and now Skyrise are in perfect position with that ending pull to really pull this game back in their favor. That is exactly what they needed to do. And, you know, that early pull, I don't know exactly where Coach was in relation to the rest of the team, but when that early pull went out, he was pulled for a good, like, 3 seconds, if I remember correctly. And that's, even if he manages to have the tank hit that survivor, like, if he's pulled that long either way, the amount of separation was enough to already send things into a real bad direction for the survivors. The fact 2 of them were outside and 2 of them were inside as well is just probably a position you really don't want to see. And in a situation where you have the event horde like fully going after the tank is dead, getting those pickups can be really, really tough to do. So great job by Team Skyrise to capitalize on all those things. And now let's see if they can continue it on their survivor side, because this is only about a 1,250 point game at this current juncture. Kermit's going to have the tank for Hot Dog Water, and he's going to have to do work, as this first hit for them is going to be a Hunter, Spitter, a Jockey, and a Charger. A lot of damage potential, of course, but the survivors, I think, are going to try to avoid that charge spawn, if at all possible. If they all decide to push out to that one spot and get multi-charge, that'd be bad for them, but the Jockey's going to go in, get M2 shut down. Hunter is going to land, Charger lands as well, Spit goes in, but is not going to hit anyone except Ellis for a little bit of damage. I think that Spit was just a little bit behind that clear, too. If that Spit had gone in a bit earlier, that's even more damage going out, but instead Team Skyrise really not going to worry about it as they push their way forward. They should be able to clear outside mostly by the time this next hit is up, and it's already going to be a Boomer, Smoker, Jockey, and a Hunter for Hot Dog Water. Going in on the survivors as they make their way outside. Double Boom is going to land. This could be dangerous. Hunter's going to land on one of the survivors in the corner, but the other two spawns are not near to follow that up. The Smoker pull goes out. Jockey gets M2'd and panned in the face by Rochelle. That was looking horrible for a second, but that Hunter, once again, a little bit of desynchronization, I think, on the side of Hot Dog Water, because that Hunter was a good 3 seconds, well, maybe not 3 seconds, but like 2.5 seconds ahead of the other two pinners. That Jockey and that Smoker were still looking for a spawn. We have a 3 going out in the all chat for whatever reason from Spirit there. But at the same point, Charger, Spitter, Hunter, Boomer for the next hit for Team Hot Dog Water. Let's see if they decide to go when the survivors push behind the counter or when they're in the hallways up ahead. Either way, if they can get some kind of charge spit, at least that would help their cause on SI side, but Skyrise have played extremely well from what we've seen on their home server, replicating what we saw Hot Dog Water do. Hunter going in and going to manage to land onto NF. Spit goes down as well. Charger goes in for the stumble, but Ellis manages to get away from both the Spit and the Charger by going into this room and jumping on that table. So a good job by him to stay as mobile as possible, not taking a massive damage after that Hunter landed. So good job by NF there. And now there's really only one more hit, I think, before this tank spawns. It's wild how quick this game has turned into one hell of a match from what we saw on that North American server. Ever since that death charge on map 4, I feel like the momentum has really gone in Team Skyrise's direction. If Hot Dog Water want to stop them, they have to do it now. Smoker pull goes in. Hunter gonna land onto Nick on top of that kiosk with a Spit going down on top of that, but he kites out of it pretty fast. Smoker's looking for a follow-up pull, not really able to land, and the survivors, they might want to go down and get the tank spawn now before that next hit is up, and indeed that's exactly what they're going to do. Roxy going to push forward and get this tank for Hot Dog Water started as this horde is still coming in onto the rest of the team. Tags up for Hot Dog Water into the hands of Kermit himself once again. Charger, Hunter, and Boomer for this first SI support hit. Nice shutdown by NF once again on Survivor side. I really, really like the way Skyrise is playing so far on this server. They could easily put up a similar amount of points if they just manage to shut down this tank, and it's a pretty favorable area for them so long as they don't get early pulled and or stumbled into wherever this tank is coming from. He's going to decide to commit the same way he did before, going from the back. Charger, Hunter, Jockey. I don't know, they might decide to sack the Charger, but this is where the survivors have hurt him in the back, and this is what I thought they were going to do on the other server. They could just hold W forward, and that is exactly what they're going to do, because the tank is trying to commit from so far away. Either that, or they're going to run back into him. They need to commit to this right now. I don't think fighting him in the actual... I don't think fighting him in the stairwell is the best idea, honestly, because there's a lot of places for them to get sandwiched, and he is going to decide to go from in front of them instead to back them up to the stairwell. Really interesting call, because now they're going to go back to the other area, and the survivors are going to manage to get out before the rest of the hit goes in. Hunter's going to go in for an early pin, but this is going to be what the corner has to come from as the tank goes in for Ellis, but that is going to be a pill pop by NF. Tank is already down to under 3k HP, still working on this corner. Charger and Jockey are the two support right now. Charger not gonna land. Tank is kiting after Coach and now is gonna get the corner onto Rochelle instead. Jockey's still jumping around, but both teams really shifting a lot. And I saw the idea from Hot Dog Water, but Skyrise played that a lot better as they were able to push back into that other area. I mean, if the tank commits on them from behind, there's really only one place for the SI to spawn in front, and it's the hole from the ceiling down the hallway, but they also have that closet over there on the side, so that could have been pretty dangerous for them had the tank managed to sandwich them in there, but instead the tank decided to commit from the front, pushing them back the other way, and the SI really weren't able to get a whole lot. Skyrise are in the driver's seat at this point. They're going to be bringing this game really, really, really back in their corner if they manage to just complete this map with this bonus. They have 768 to their name, 59% DB, 46% health. Smoker Pull goes out in the front, going to have a Hunter go on to the pull target with a spit going down on top of that as well. Survivors really not taking a whole lot of damage. If they can motor their way all the way through these hallways and then push out to the event, I think it's one more hit before safe room with the rest of that horde, maybe 1.5. They can stand in spots where it's really, really difficult for the SI to hit them whatsoever too, aside from those windows like above them or something. And this, by all intents and purposes, will actually be Hot Dog Water's last hit of this chapter right here with this Hunter, Charger, Boomer, and a Jockey. So they don't even have the spit really to capitalize on it. They would need to land a multi-cap as the Survivors are right next to each other. And the Hunter's going to land first. Charger's going for punches. Is now going to get another couple. That's actually a really surprising amount of damage from that Charger. I think he actually might have been able to scratch them through the dividers, if I'm not mistaken, because I heard punches going out as the Survivors just stumbled forward. And with how Left 4 Dead 2 hitboxes work with collidable props, that's a lot of damage for them to have to deal with. But that's Skyrise making the safe room 6,113 to 5,087, still in the favor of Hot Dog Water, but they make up a good, you know, over 700 points, almost 800 on this map. It comes down to next map, really, I would say, because the finale is not the one where you can score a mass amount of points on. If Skyrise can manage to get another wipe on this tank or something close to it, they would be right back in it. It's still perilous for them at this point, just because you really can't rely on finale to be the comeback map. If they make it happen, it's going to come down to this, because if you give Hot Dog Water the distance points to the tank, that gives them about 6,500, right? Maybe a little bit more, 66, somewhere in there. And if Hot Dog Water managed to make the map with the full 600, like with the full, is it 600 or 700? I think it actually might be 700. It is, okay, yeah, it's 700 distance. That's even better, actually, for Hot Dog Water. If they survive this tank, they're going to get a good, like, 400 more points, 300, 400 more points than they would have if they were to wipe at the tank, right? And I feel like if there's ever a time for Skyrise to hit one of those frag video style triple cap, multi-cap, tank, corner punches, all that, this would be the exact time to do it. But let's see if Team Hot Dog Water managed to withstand this comeback attempt by Skyrise. They've been building it now over the past couple of maps, and this is where they really got to bring it home. They have only 2 more chapters to bring back just over 1,000 points of difference. I 100% think that they can do it, but I also think that it depends on where Hot Dog Water decide to fight the tank, because of what we saw happen with the room down below in the movie theater, I don't know which one is better that way. The Boomer dying early in the theater really just makes it difficult for the tank to do anything. Boomer dying early anywhere does that, but the theater really, really requires the SI support to do a massive amount of the work, because the tank getting a solo corner there while getting shredded across that entire place can be really, really difficult. Opposite that, in the room below, like, you can have stumbles go out, like Charger, Jockey, Hunter there is really good. Maybe somebody gets early pulled to some spot. Like, there's a lot of ways that this could possibly go wrong. I think if they're trying to just survive it that way, maybe they take their shot with the theater instead, because the theater, if you can stay on top of those seats and jump around, then you have a lot more room, I think, to kite the tank laterally than you do, even in the room down below. Let's see, though, what the Survivors decide to do. Hot Dog Water Survivor side first, defending this lead. And Skyrise on the Special Infected. That's going to be a charge going in, hitting a double charge onto Rochelle and to Coach with a Smoker Pull going out onto Coach in the corner as well. Nice hit by Skyrise to start things off. Just about 57 damage coming out from that first attack, and the Survivors now are going to try to hold W as much as they can. Tank is at 48%, will be up in the hands of Chris this time for Skyrise, one of the long-term players in the international community, definitely in the European scene, as well as we do see this hit go in. Single boom's going to land. Charger spawns up behind. Charger goes in, lands a beautiful triple charge onto the Survivors with a slam. Jockey jumps onto Nick, who was God-framed. This is now Skyrise deciding when they want to play SI. You know what I mean? Because Hot Dog Water on the North American server were going wherever they wanted to, whenever they wanted to with that ping, and now Skyrise is anticipating them really, really well. That's the second time that you've seen them try to move to a spot, and the SI have really been on top of their shit. In terms of intercepting there, that triple charge, if that jockey had landed, that's a disastrous amount of damage. Already not what you want to see if you're a Hot Dog Water fan. Next hit for Skyrise is going to be a Smoker, Spitter, Hunter, and a Boomer for this area right before the feeder, and it should be the last hit prior to the tank. Boomer might even decide to save when the survivors go forward, but Spit's gonna go out, Smoke is gonna spawn in front too, and the survivors are not gonna go to the feeder. They are gonna decide to go down below, but they're gonna get triple boomed for it as they're running downstairs. This hit being up is really, really fortuitous for Team Skyrise as Chris is now working his way in. The Spitter is gonna die late, but this triple boom could spell disaster for the survivors if this horde is delayed for whatever reason, and the tank is going to decide to go in with a Smoker already spawned up for support with the rest of the horde behind him. It really depends on when this horde gets here. This is such a tricky situation for both teams to be dealing with as the survivors are going to kite backwards. Smoker, Charger, Jockey for the tank's SI support. He's already down to 3k without getting a punch. Going to get the punch onto Rochelle now, turning back around, going for Ellis instead. Hit is going to be going in to help him, and there's the charge landing, the smoke landing, and the Jockey landing as the triple cap by Skyrise goes out. What did I say? If there was ever a time for them to do the frag movie thing, this was it, and they did the thing on that tank. 263 points only for Team Hot Dog Water. Amazing special infected coordination by Skyrise, and when that triple boom landed on the transition backwards, right, when Hot Dog Water were trying to go back, that immediately spells disaster, because the horde is like basically taking forever to get in from the stairwell in front of the survivors the tank also has to come from, and by the time they backed all the way up from where they got boomed, they gave the horde that much more space that they had to run through to get to the survivors that way. It's in front of them, so it wasn't despawning, of course, and then by the time the tank pushed them back to that corner, like, the rest of the hit was able to capitalize on the fact that survivors just were not able to be where they wanted in terms of their positioning or in terms of being able to shut stuff down. That is exactly what Skyrise needed. This is now the crucial map. They have 700 distance to make, so that would put them at just about 5,800. If they can draw this to within, like, 300 points, like, going into finale, then it's definitely winnable for them, because I think there's about 250 points between the first and the second tank spawning, right? I really want to see where they fight this, because I do not like the room down below anymore, judging on how it's gone this game, and they also have the right to do whatever they want, because they have the green ping in this scenario. So let's see if Skyrise can complete this comeback on Survivor side. Charger hits the wall as the Jockey lands, and very, very quick clears go out onto that Smoker and Spitter as well. So everything dead really, really fast, and I think Skyrise are also going to start moving at that pace as they start pushing forward, just because they have the momentum entirely on their side now, and so long as they don't have somebody get somehow intercepted by, you know, a wall kick or by some kind of stumble that's close to the tank, they could decide to go back. But if they decide to play forward there too, odds are they're going to survive this tank. I don't think we see that same kind of thing go down. We'll see what Fetty is able to do for Hot Dog Water, of course, and the next hit for Hot Dog Water is going to be this Jockey, Boomer, Hunter, and a Charger. So no Spitter to have to worry about on Survivor side. But lots of time for the SI to do even more damage before this tank. They probably want to get both Coach and Ellis, that being Chris and NF, down to the 4 punch range, if at all possible, especially because they don't really have a Spitter for this, so it's going to come from stumbles and scratch damage mostly as they continue pushing up the stairwell. Tank's going to spawn right as they get around this corner too, so maybe this Boomer waits, but we're going to see the Charger spawning up in the back, going for some kind of damage, and now the Boomer spawning. Actually, the Boomer didn't spawn. I thought I heard the Boomer spawn. That's just me hearing shit again. But the survivors are going to push their way into the theater, and I think I agree with that call. And if that Boomer had decided to spawn before, I think he was probably waiting to see where the survivors were going to go. But so long as they block everything in this room, they should be perfectly fine to shut this down. We saw what happened when Skyrise's Boomer failed on the other server. Hopefully for Hot Dog Water, that does not happen to them here, but this is the point where they now have to make a play, because Skyrise have all the momentum and a whole lot of health bonus to deal with. Boomer is going to get popped. Hunter is going to decide to stay up, and they're actually trying to deagle the Hunter through the wall, so he has to run his way away from Rochelle. I think I probably prefer a... I don't know, would I rather land a Charger or a Smoker here? I actually might prefer a Smoker in this spot, just because you can yoink somebody directly across those movie theater seats, and the Charger is pretty easy to either kite around the podium or just jump away from. Yeah, they're going to have the Smoker for it, so let's see if this tank can get the corner as well. Fetty committing this is actually going to block the tank. The tank's going to block the Smoker's pull as it goes in, missing a punch there as well. Hunter is going to manage to land. The tank is going to turn around, trying to get this corner onto Rochelle, but not finding anything yet. This tank has gotten no punches so far. That rock is going to land onto NF, but that is all this tank is going to get. And this is Skyrise making their way back on this map. Yeah, the instant get up, that's what confused me just a bit after that pin, because that tank looked like it was going to get some kind of corner for that, but instead it is literally the instant get up that we see instead, and this puts things squarely in Skyrise's favor. They are sitting at an astronomical 1,369 point health bonus with only like a handful of hits left. They have this event, but it goes by pretty quickly, and this Charger's gonna get nothing. That Hunter gets blown out of the sky by NF. Chris is gonna kill the Boomer, and Skyrise are bringing this all the way back, at least so far. Man, oh man. Gate is going to go up in just a few seconds too, and Skyrise running 3 shotties with this green ping. They really just need to worry, I'd say, about that ladder choke. Like, they can obviously not take a whole lot of damage on the hits beforehand. We kind of expect them to do that. But if they kill this quad successfully and then don't get someone in-capped or death jockeyed or multi-charged, whatever could happen on the ladder, they're going to be in an amazing position to score just an astronomical amount of points on this map. Let's see if they actually manage to make it happen, as they're going to still stay in this side jazz bar until right now. They're probably filling it just a little bit in the ammo department as they work, but the quad is going to be spawning up below them. Jockey going in from the right-hand side. Charger goes in, missing it on that survivor next to the smoker pole. That looked real scary for a split second, but the survivors are able to make their way past it. And now this Charger and Smoker are both going to be forced to despawn as Skyrise continue working their way up. Stairwell really isn't a problem for them at this point. All of the Horde is behind, will not despawn once again. And this should be Boomer Spitter, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it's going to be the 2-2 with Boom Spit, a half-dead Charger, and a Smoker that's also chipped down to 135 for potentially the last hit from Hotdog Water. This is an absolutely incredible Survivor side performance by Skyrise here. Double Boom's gonna go out. Charger gets annihilated in the doorway. The spit does a bit of damage, and that helps Team Hotdog Water's case a little, but it's still 1,200 bonus for Skyrise as they keep working their way up and up the Skyscraper. They're going to be climbing the ladder, and dare I say it, but when they needed to deliver that kind of frag movie style map, they did exactly that. 6,999 points so far for Skyrise, 1,912 points on one chapter. Everyone watching, that is an incredible turnaround by your number 8 seed in the United Nations Tournament 2021. They have made it look easier on their home server than the team that had them down by over 2,000 points going into map 4, and now this game is absolutely theirs to lose, right? At this point, I mean, Hotdog Water have to make the map, essentially, because unless they get, like, some kind of insane quad death charge directly at this corner, Skyrise are at least going to make it there. But if they even survive to the second tank and make Team Hotdog Water potentially score, like, 1,400 points on this map or something, that most likely isn't going to happen just by nature of it being an away game. So, incredible job by Team Skyrise so far. And let's see if they can bring it home on map 4. Hunter, Spitter, Jockey, Boomer, 2-2 for the first hit for Team Hotdog Water. Hunter is going to get deleted by those shotguns as the Spit's going to go down onto Ellis now. Jockey also bouncing around outside, maybe looking to get a scratch or two, but only one going to go out, and the Boomer's going to get a single boom as well. But that is all they are going to be able to get on the side of Team Hotdog Water. W's are going to come out from Skyrise now as they work their way around the corner. And with the absence of a charger, at least until they get to the ladder, they just have to avoid happening to them the exact same they did to Team Hotdog Water on their home server. It would be catastrophic for them, of course, if this manages to land, but Smoker, Charger, Hunter, Spitter is the next hit for Team Hotdog Water. Let's see what they decide to do with it. And the survivors, because of exactly what I was just saying, they do not want to get memed by the same pull charge from behind. They are staring at that door as much as possible. Innuendo is watching it pretty much the entire time until he comes up now. And they are going to work their way around the corner. Hunter's going to get skeeted. Coach is going to get pulled. The charger is there, and the death charge does not land. It doesn't land. He collided with the side of the ladder because the charger just did not have the angle. The pull was there, but that is how close games like this can sometimes be. That would have been the exact same disaster happening to Skyrise. Man, thankfully for them, the survivor was positioned just correctly enough. Chris was in the spot where he got clipped with his hitbox on the side, and now it comes down to these tanks for Hotdog Water. They're going to send this hit in. Hunter's going to get blown out of the sky by Chris. Spit's going to go down onto nothing. The Boomer's going to spawn up top and is going to get popped with that jockey, also not able to find much. And now the survivors are going to choose which one of these spots they think works best for them to kill the rest of this horde. Bouncing around on the side here, playing it between the offices. They have the normal rocket spawns above them, as we saw on the last server. But for anything to really go well here, this charger is going to have to try to find maybe a rocket spawn to land on top of them. It is a quad cap attempt for Hotdog Water. Let's see if they can make it land in any way, shape, or form. Smoker and Jockey are coming from the hallway upstairs. Coach is going to get pulled as the Jockey's going in, getting M2 and shut down. Hunter is going to land, so it was almost a triple cap, but the Charger whiffed, and the M2 by Rochelle was enough to stop that from being any kind of disastrous triple cap or quad. And this is why I said you really can't rely on the finale for any kind of comeback. It's Hotdog Water who need the comeback now, but it's already almost 7,300 points for Team Skyrise, and in this case, it's already, you gotta survive both tanks the entire event and then make it onto the helipad with bonus, and onto the helicopter with bonus from the helipad even. So, last 2-2 here, it looks like, before this first tank is going to be a Boomer, Smoker, Spitter, and not a whole lot of damage going out from it either. The double boom is there, but this tank in the hands of Chica for Hotdog Water absolutely needs to wipe, in my opinion, for this to still be a game. Rock is going to be going around the corner, almost landing onto Rochelle, but the survivors have taken the high ground as this Smoker is going to die. They're going to force the tank to bring in that spiky ball either down this left or right hand side tunnel again, and I expect them to try to kite away from it even more than they did on the away server. The hittable physics to this are so wonky as they go inside. The ball is pretty much going to be in the spot now where Ellis can shift the tank if he tries to go for it, but there's no real reason, I think, for Team Skyrise to play that risky with it, just because they already have the lead and they just need to survive. This ball is now not going to be in play either, so tank in the hands of Chica is going to have to go all the way back around and maybe push them to that side. Jockey, Hunter, Charger for the SI support too, deciding where he wants to commit from, basically. NF is taking the top position with this Uzi just to block as much as possible as the tank is already in. Hunter is going for something as NF is going to get punched first by the tank. That's going to be the Hunter still bouncing around as the Jockey dies. Finally, the in cap goes in. There's the skeet. Charger's going in for something as well, not finding it, and the tank is not finding much either. Last one of the SI alive with less than 200 HP before he dies, throwing that rock, not able to land it. And this, I think, is pretty much GG for Team Hotdog Water. Unfortunately for them, Skyrise now are going to be able to keep extending their lead, getting closer even above to that 8K that I was kind of looking at the start of the match. Really nice job by them to just, okay, NF was trying to get the hit to go on him, managed to jump into the tank, but it really wasn't that bad because the Jockey that was going for him at the same time also died. So because they managed to back away enough, they managed to survive with just one in cap, and this 2-2 really isn't doing a massive amount of damage either. The Spit and the Boom both go in, I think, before the Smoker, so we're not going to be seeing any kind of quad cap attempt, I don't believe. And that is the :C and the :V faces going out from Gator in the special infected chat, because it is pretty much over at this point for Team Hotdog Water. So commiserations to them, unless this somehow miraculously turns around, but Skyrise have that way where they, even though they started slow, they managed to make a hell of a comeback when they needed it, and in the position where they needed it the most. So they managed to clutch it out. Hunter gets skeeted, Charger goes in, not going to land. M2 on that jockey as well. Nothing really going for Hotdog Water at this point. All the momentum is on Team Skyrise's side. Let's see if they decide to take the tank in the exact same spot. The hittable / COVID ball is across the way from them at this point too. So they would just have to be worrying about those rocket spawns once again, as is traditional in pretty much every game of competitive Left 4 Dead 2, but especially on a custom map like this. Boomer, Hunter, Smoker, and a Charger for this next hit from Hotdog Water. They're trying to still make something happen to stay in this, but I don't think their SI has the same intensity quite as it did when they were leading, just because of that momentum changing. Let's see if Gator can get this wipe and still keep it at all in the realm of possibility. He's going to be committing right away from the top. As the Smoker pull goes out, the Smoker is going to die, but NF is going to get pretty early cornered there. Tank is under 3k HP, however, as his team is still kiting away from the tank. Hunter's going for Coach, not going to land. Nice level going out by Roxy, that being Frey. Tank is going to get this corner now onto Coach for a decent amount of damage, but he is going to die before that in cap can go out onto Chris. That will put NF black and white and will stand as good damage, but this is going to be Team Skyrise picking their teammates off the ground and making their way to the helipad. Jockey is going to land for a split second onto Roxy, but barring some kind of death charge off the helipad or Boomer stumble, that is going to be all they wrote for this match. Team Skyrise bring back the big North American Delta with that amazing death charge on their away server and then lock it up on home. Advance in the playoffs of the United Nations Tournament 2021. It's obviously still possible for Team Hotdog Water to win, but getting on that helicopter is the way for Skyrise to pretty much finalize it before Hotdog Water even go. 8,407 points for Team Skyrise between these two games to 6,376 for Team Hotdog Water so far. They would have to play this level absolutely immaculately in order to make the mathematical comeback, but seeing as that's not going to happen, most likely, congratulations to Team Skyrise, commiserations to Hotdog Water. Hotdog Water played an amazing game on Survivor side on their home server, but unfortunately they were not able to replicate that success on the high ping. Skyrise were able to absolutely maximize their home server, as you want to try to see happen in every high-level home and away game. The big difference, I think, too, is the fact that I just don't think Hotdog Water have as much experience on ping as a team as Skyrise do. Skyrise have been playing extremely consistently for the past couple years with different lineups. Most of their consistent lineup is still in the game here. You know, they have a lot more experience on it, and they seem to have just completely ignored whatever happened on that first server and successfully maximized here. So good job on them for sticking with it and for doing as well as they have. Let's see if they can close this out with one more special infected round. Hotdog Water on Survivor side now, facing a Boomer, Hunter, Spitter, and a Jockey for this first hit. The Hunter's already pre-spawned to the side, bouncing its way in, going to land onto Coach. Spit goes down as well, going to spread up the side of that desk onto the Survivors for just a little bit of damage as Coach backs up, so nothing huge going out, and now Skyrise are going to have the chance to replicate that death charge that we've been talking about pretty much since it happened. That, if you had to ask me, was the major turning point of the game, just because it prevented Hotdog Water from maximizing their home server, and it started bringing that momentum back. But this is going to be an attempt for another huge play on their special infected side of things, along with the Smoker, Hunter, and Boomer for this setup. Boomer and Hunter both spawning in the front. The Smoker is spawned below, going to pull Rochelle, but not going to see the death charge again. That was almost the third death charge in the same spot in this match. And Frey Charger is what Innuendo has to say in Infected Chat. That time, the Survivor below wasn't expecting the Smoker just to claw out the door and insta-pull like that, but that Charger, again, inches away from landing. Venom would land that as well. Coming out from Krycha, just a little bit of that Skyrise synergy coming out of again, as this Boomer is going to get popped and shut down. They have to start this event as fast as they possibly can. I mean, it's surprising that it's taken me this long to even think of like the the Dyescrayper, like Skyscraper, Skyrise connection like that. Maybe like the home map for Team Skyrise is this map, but now all I really need is for somebody to get hit with this COVID ball at some points. Everybody misses Skyrise, Kreitch apparently too, but Kreitch is saying that that's old times. Let's see if hotdog would are able to finish this out just for the, you know, just for the good sportsmanship, the respect part of it here, trying to do the best they possibly can on Survivor's side against this quad. Hunter is going to be bouncing around, but Pull does manage to land. Charger's going to whiff. The Hunter lands onto Rochelle, and the Jockey lands as well onto Nick, so just a bit of chip damage going out onto that, but this tank in the hands of NF is going to be up sooner rather than later. I think probably one more attack and one more wave of horde for the Survivors to contend with before that happens. The Survivors probably are going to fight it. The swimming pool seems to still be the most standard strat from what I've watched this weekend. They could try to change it up again, but because the tank can whack the foyer before the helipad out with its arm, you really don't want to be relying on that for a place to kite. Everything on that hit getting completely shut down. Charger going for a charge on the Survivor. That being Spirit, I'm pretty sure, playing Nick on that table. Wasn't able to quite land it this time, and now the Survivors are going to be able to kite their way back over to where they want to be, making sure they have the ammo and everything. Let's see what NF is able to do with this tank for Team Skyrise. The only thing is that they've already broken the stand where the ball is, so they're going to force the tank to have to go over and pretty much like crouch against the window, deal with the COVID ball, but already we have this triple cap going out with this Charger getting a lot of damage on the Spirit. The tank is right there, and he thought about going in. He thought about going in, the close coming out as well, and he's going for the ball. He's crouching. He's not going to go flying off the building, and he actually has one of the Survivors split here. Coach, that being Kermit, working his way all the way past the hittable. The Survivors are pushing him so hard as well because they know that they have to survive this second tank. He's already down to about 4,300 HP. The Survivors are kiting him away with this one boom going out, but he might be looking to commit before they can get reset again. And indeed, that's what he's going to be going for. Going for Nick, but he's actually going to hit Rochelle instead. Matting to get the corner. One more punch is going to do it. There's the pull going out onto Nick. Punch going out onto Coach as he gets pounced. Ellis and Nick also getting multi-punched there by NF. Rock is going to go in, Matting to land again onto Nick. Tremendous amount of damage. I can understand exactly why the Survivors want to play it that aggressively, but they are in a terrible spot now. Getting rocked to death by this tank, who I don't think can actually hitbox him there, but he's going to go jumping in for the last punch onto Nick and getting it. Really nice job by NF and Team Skyrise there, that being NF Meister, to bring that tank fight back under control the way they want it to be after that early chip. You know, the Survivors had to play it that aggressively just because they couldn't take a massive amount there. They had to try to get control of the tank fight, but Skyrise responded pretty much as well as they needed to, and that will indeed clinch them. Moving on into the next round of the playoffs, we already see the Survivors going out towards the helipad because they know the game is over, so Nick and Rochelle are already just chilling out there. This is the classic way for teams, I think, that have lost a bit on Dyescrayper, just to end things out. It's not the best position that you want because it's so possible for the Charger to land, or for if a Survivor jumps, they can get force pushed off the edge by the wind. The Hunter just jumps over everyone's head and does get skeeted on his way down, but he was going to die anyway. So the Survivors now, they're going to have to come back inside for the tank fight, but they're already bleeding to the point where they should be dead, and all of the things that we've seen so far explain why you really can't rely on Dyescrayper map 4 for any kind of comeback. You can need it to extend your lead, but it was really map 2 and map 3 on both servers that made the difference in this playoff match. The smoker spawned down below. Jockey's looking for something as well. Breaking out the doors, going for this charge, and that is going to be the death charge. Going out onto Gator just for the exclamation point on this match, I would say. The goodbyes and the GGs going out. We are also just seeing a Roxanne Wolf chat spam, as you could expect. Last tank of this match is up in the hands of NF for Team Skyrise. They're saying go-go once again. The let's win going out from Chica because they know this is unfortunately the end of the tournament for Team Hot Dog Water. NF is going to be committing this pretty much as soon as humanly possible. They are trying to kick Frey at the same point in time, and I do believe Frey has been voted out of the game. That is going to be shitter coming out in all chat too. They now have 3-on-3 effectively with one of the survivors dead. This is obviously the exact kind of content that you want to see in the playoffs at all times. From all the teams involved. This tank is just going to be taking his sweet-ass time, I think, to go to the survivors as well, but now he is going to try to throw a curve rock around this corner, not going to land it. Smoker and Hunter for the support, and now both teams are just chilling as much as humanly possible, I think. At this point, Rochelle is going to get pushed off by the wind, as the Smoker is also over there, and now the survivors are having a tank crouch into their face. Amazing kiting that we're seeing go out. There's a ledge hang on to Ellis, and Coach is going to end it by getting punched all the way down from the Dyescrayper to his death. That is Team Skyrise taking the win over Team Hot Dog Water. Home and away, maps 1-4, Dyescrayper Redux, United Nations Tournament 2021 playoffs by a score of 8,407 to 6,904. Incredible match between these two teams. Exactly the kind of comeback that you would hope for in this kind of scenario. But yeah, I mean, both teams were really on point on their survivor side on home server, and Skyrise were the ones that were able to make the difference. So thank you to everybody who watched this game. Congratulations, of course, to Team Skyrise for taking the victory. That's going to advance them in the tournament and have them playing against Team Mixture next week on Dead Before Dawn in the losers bracket. All the information for that, of course, is going to be posted by the tournament administrators themselves, so shout out to them, and also to Krycha for doing most of the streaming here. I'm going to link the Ko-Fi just one more time, because I'm carrying that shit around with me at this point. But yes, congrats to Team Skyrise. Thanks to Krycha for inviting me to cast this, of course, and we are going to have a hell of a match, I'm sure, next week as well, between teams Boys in the Favela and Envy. That's the one that I'm really looking at in that winner's bracket thing. So GG's to everyone, well played to the teams, thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day or wherever you're watching from. I hope to see you again on these casts real soon.